cool night in Tampa, Florida, but it's about to heat up at Raymond James Stadium. The Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech rolls in from Atlanta, hoping to catch a Tiger by the tail. The Clemson Tigers, Dabo Swinney, champions of the Atlantic Division. Georgia Tech, the Coastal winners, set to clash in the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship next. Welcome to our college football prime time as we continue Jimmy V Week on ESPN and continue our commitment to the V Foundation for Cancer Research. This is the Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. The Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech and the Tigers of Clemson. Two teams separated by about 2 hours of I-85. And this is the second time they'll play this year. The first time was almost 3 months ago. The site was Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta, and Georgia Tech jumped to a 24-0 lead. But the ACC Player of the Year, C.J. Spiller, brought Clemson back. They regained the lead only to have Georgia Tech kick a late field goal and win 30-27. And as so many of these games have been between Georgia Tech and Clemson over the years, they've always been close. This is the 75th time these two clubs will get together. But it's the first time ever that they'll play each other twice in the same season. We welcome you, everybody, to the ACC Championship. I'm Brad Nestler along with Todd Blackledge. These two teams, winners of their division. The FedEx Orange Bowl is in their future, and a couple of long dry spells, Todd, because Georgia Tech hasn't won an outright championship in the ACC since 1990. For Clemson, 1991. Somebody's going to a major bowl game. That's what's in store for us tonight. And we should have a lot of offense because they're the number one and number two scoring teams in the conference.
Well, and both teams have a couple marquee players, particularly at the running back position. First for Clemson, you've got senior C.J. Spiller. Now, C.J.'s had a tough year with some injuries. He's shown some toughness. He had his toe injury all year. He was sick last week, but he feels good this week. He's a dangerous guy running it, receiving it, or getting a kick return, and he's right where he wants to be, leading his team. Now, Jonathan Dwyer for Georgia Tech, the junior, is the focal point of Paul Johnson's spread option offense. He's the first option from that B-back position, averages 6.4 yards every time he carries it. Those two guys are critical.
Two very different offenses, obviously, that run the show, and they do it in different ways.
Yeah, and I think both these guys, Josh Nesbitt and Kyle Parker of Clemson, have gotten better each week as the season has gone on, and I think that will determine who wins this game tonight. Which one of those two guys plays the best within their system. For Josh Nesbitt, take care of the football, a lot of runs and a few critical passes. Kyle Parker, a lot of passes, a few clutch runs, and he better take care of the ball too.
All right, the last two players of the year in this conference on the same field. And on the field, also the third member of our team, Aaron Andrews. EA.
Brad, thanks. Couple of injury updates and good news for both teams. We'll start with Georgia Tech. Their quarterback, Josh Nesbitt. He was injured last weekend against Georgia, a right ankle sprain, and he told me tonight he's good to go. In fact, he's not even wearing anything extra protective around it, like, you know, a wrap or a sleeve. Also, Todd just mentioned C.J. Spiller. I spoke with him in pregame. He said finally, with that toe, he's able to cut, run, and plant the way he wants to. And guys, let me tell you, I worked that first Georgia Tech game. C.J. Spiller was in a lot of pain. Not this time.
Here come the Clemson Tigers, winners of the Atlantic Division. And on the other side, the Rambling Wreck, followed by the Yellow Jackets. It's championship time for one of those teams. The ACC Player of the Year, C.J. Spiller. Last year's award winner, John Dwyer. Josh Nesbitt at the controls for Georgia Tech. It's all on the line in Tampa. The ACC Championship determined next.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Vonage. Call 877-4VONAGE now for unlimited calls around the world. Vonage. Sounds good.
Nice night in Tampa. A little cool, but we'll take it compared to the rain of the last 2 days. Paul Johnson, the ACC Coach of the Year for the 2nd straight season. That doesn't happen very often. It's only happened 3 times in the history of the league. And Dabo Swinney in just his first full year as head coach, and he's done a remarkable job for the Clemson Tigers. He finished runner-up to Paul Johnson for Coach of the Year honors.
Well, right away we're going to find out what Paul Johnson wants to do with C.J. Spiller on the kickoff. You know, when they played before, Georgia Tech had 7 kickoffs, and they did okay. The first one they kicked out of bounds. The second one, Spiller returned it out to the 42-yard line, and after that, they did a pretty good job managing. We're not sure how he wants to go about it.
Paul said, I'm going to decide right before the game begins. Well, right now, Scott Blair, his kicker, is the only guy that really knows, with the exception of that kickoff team for Georgia Tech. They won the toss and deferred, and there's Mr. Excitement. 7 career kickoff returns for scores is a college football record. He took one the distance on the opening kick last week in the loss to South Carolina. The ACC title game's underway, and it's a high pooch kick. And it's fair, caught at the 28-yard line by Chad Deal. So we get our answer.
Yep.
It's a pooch kick, and one of the up men has to fair catch it.
Well, again, the first time they played, they did that once, and they had 2 squib kicks, and every other time they tried to kick it deep.
So out of that pack will come Kyle Parker, who's really grown up as the season's progressed. And he had a sensational game actually the first time around against Georgia Tech, as he led them back with 3 touchdowns to make it a game. He'll open things in the shotgun as the Tigers work from their own 29-yard line. Jacoby Ford, inside handoff on the end around. He's got some blockers, but he slips on his own and goes down after a gain of about 4. Let's take a look at our Dr. Pepper impact players for the Clemson Tigers. Well, Jacoby already has a carry, but he's a great receiver with tremendous speed. Really, the other guy you have to watch for in the passing game is Michael Palmer, the all-conference tight end. Now, on the other side, man that's got 8 interceptions at strong safety, and he's a hitter, DeAndre McDaniel. 2nd down and 6. Parker under center this time. The fullback on the move as C.J. Spiller gets his first carry. 2, maybe 3. That's about it. Mario Edwards made the stop for Georgia Tech. So we'll have our first 3rd down of the ball game as you take a look at the Clemson offense on the top of your screen. On 3rd down this year, Clemson 38%.
Well, they better block number 91 in white, Derek Morgan, because he had a field day when they played in September. 10 tackles, 3 sacks, 4 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He is an outstanding pass rusher.
They've got 2 tight ends in there, but neither one of them on him right now. 3rd and 3. There he comes, and Parker got rid of it, and it's complete to one of our impact players. Palmer, first down catch.
Well, you're not going to make a living for much of the game single blocking Derek Morgan. They're going to try to just block him one-on-one with Landon Walker, the tackle. The good thing was it was a quick throw out of the hands of Kyle Parker before Morgan could get him to the ground.
Even though he got the completion, Parker felt the wrath at 91, who hit him just as he let go of the ball. But it did net the Tigers a first down at the 41-yard line. And they go to an I backfield with Deal in there at fullback. Spiller bounces it outside. C.J. Spiller, 1 man to beat. Well, being knocked out of bounds by Butler. It would have been a touchdown.
C.J. told us on Thursday, every week he tries out his toe just to see how it feels. He said this week it felt the best it's felt all season, and you could tell right away the quick plant and the break outside without losing speed. The acceleration is there tonight for C.J. Spiller. He doesn't get it to the end zone, but he gets a big-time carry.
40 yards to the 19. There he is with Jacoby Ford. Todd and I call him fast and faster.
Yeah.
They're both in the backfield right now. And now Ford comes out of it into a slot. First down, Tigers already in the red zone. At the Yellow Jacket 19. They give it to Spiller. And he only got about a yard. Staying home to make the tackle, the middle linebacker, Brad Jefferson. As you see, the Georgia Tech defense on top of your screen, led by the Defensive Player of the Year, Derek Morgan.
Very important drive right here for Clemson, just to get their feet on the ground. When these two teams played back in September, it was 21-0 before Clemson even broke a sweat.
Right.
I mean, there were a couple big plays. There was a big 82-yard run by Georgia Tech early, and they had to claw their way back the rest of the game. Right now, they're setting the tempo early in the ball game.
Andre Ellington's going to come into the backfield. Palmer, the tight end, sets up. Play action. Parker got a man out in the flat. Jacoby Ford. End zone. Got it. Nope, they're going to say he stepped out of bounds at about the 3-yard line. He ran out of real estate. Almost ran out of his shoes. That shows the quickness of number 6.
Well, the quickness of number 6 and the quick release of Kyle Parker. He gets out on the edge. He flicks it out there to Ford. There's where he stepped out, just inside the 5-yard line. But a nice blend of run and pass on this opening drive for Clemson.
Great job by the linesman down there to see that foot just hit the chalk on a 1st and goal now at the 3. C.J. Spiller, the lone setback. He'll get the call. Weaves his way. Touchdown, Clemson. You talk about an impressive opening drive. Most of it was number 28. Number 6 had something to do with it as well. "71 yards in 7 plays.
Georgia Tech has battled injuries on their defensive front. They lost another starter last week to Georgia. Boy, it showed on that opening drive.
Richard Jackson's extra point is up and good. Player of the Year in the Atlantic Coast Conference, showing us why in the first 3.5 minutes. Tigers by a touchdown. And did we mention he's pretty good? C.J. Spiller, touchdown. And he was the majority of that drive.
Yeah, 4 carries, 47 yards. And, you know, last week he had the stomach virus. This happened while we were gone. Mark Herzlich. Yep.
Mark Herzlich of Boston College, battling cancer as we talk about Jimmy V week, and he's doing great, cancer-free. Will be back playing for Boston College next year. We'll talk more about that later. The kick to Orwin Smith, a yard deep. Slips, trying to avoid a tackler, and goes down at about the 15-yard line. So Georgia Tech brings out the most dynamic rushing offense in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And here's the reason. Josh Nesbitt almost at 1,000. John Dwyer well over that. And Anthony Allen averaging over 10 a carry.
Yeah. And Allen was really the guy. He had only 5 carries, but 127 yards when they played back in Atlanta in September. And an 82-yard touchdown run on the second offensive play of the game for Georgia Tech.
They'd like more of that to happen right here. Nesbitt, late pitch. And down the sideline is Roddy Jones. Out of bounds at about the 36-yard line.
Very similar to the 82-yard touchdown run from a few months ago.
Only the other side of the field.
That's exactly right. They fake the dive. It looks like a quarterback keep and a pitch at the last minute. And it was Bebe Thomas out there blocking on the perimeter. Again, these big receivers for Georgia Tech do a great job of blocking for the option down the field.
President Butler did a good job of staying there and using the sideline to bump him out of bounds. But it's first down, Georgia Tech. And now the pitch to Jones again. To the 42-yard line. So Roddy Jones, we spend all our time talking about Dwyer and Anthony Allen and Josh Nesbitt. You can't forget about Roddy Jones.
Well, you go into this thinking we've got to stop Dwyer first. We have to stop the dive, and then we've got to stop the quarterback. But you also have to account for the pitch. And right now, in 2 consecutive plays, Georgia Tech able to easily get to the perimeter of the Clemson defense.
21 the first time for Jones, 22 that time to the Clemson 42.
Gets the dive inside to Dwyer, his first carry. About 3 yards as we take a look at our Dr. Pepper impact players for Georgia Tech. You heard Todd call him baby. That's what everybody calls DeMaryius Thomas. Sensational receiver, over 24 yards a catch. Anthony Allen, we mentioned, 10.3 per rush. He hasn't touched it yet. Derek Morgan leads the ACC in sacks with 12.5, and he was the defensive player of the year in the conference. 5 minutes into the game, the fireworks have begun already. Clemson leads, Georgia Tech driving. And here's a pitch to Marcus Wright. So Georgia Tech using everybody in that ground game that averages over 300 yards per.
When these teams played before, Georgia Tech had some trouble blocking the 2 inside tackles for Clemson. Jarvis Jenkins and Brandon Thompson. They're both 300-pounders, and they were able to get penetration in the inside gaps and create some problems for the inside run. So right away, we see Georgia Tech attacking the outside to start the game.
Second in the country in third down conversions, Georgia Tech. 3rd and 3. Nesbitt trying to get it himself and does.
But you saw the quickness of Brandon Thompson. Number 98 almost disrupted this play in the backfield. He got penetration. Watch 98 get into the backfield and almost trip up Nesbitt before he gets the first down. Nifty bit of running by Josh to avoid the loss of yardage.
The right tackle, Phil Smith, is the Yellow Jacket down. Georgia Tech is pretty thin on both lines, and they can ill afford to lose the redshirt freshman out of Tampa, who they think is eventually going to be probably the best lineman they've got. And not only that, he's from here, and that's something that makes it even worse. You know how many family members and friends he's got at this game. While they look at Phil, they're going to look at whether or not it's first down. It was easily.
He only played a few snaps when these teams played earlier, and then he ultimately became the starter when Austin Barrick was injured, who was the original starter at right tackle.
Oh, man. You hate to see it any time, but you work out all spring, you lift and run all summer with your teammates, and you get to a championship game, and it looks like either the lower leg or the knee on the left side for Phil Smith.
Yeah. Well, coming in to tonight, they thought they had 3 guys that could play tackle. Sellers, the left tackle, Smith, the right tackle, and Nick Clater would kind of swing and back up both. Well, now Nick Clater is your starting right tackle for Georgia Tech.
Nick's all done swinging. He's going to be there all night now. It's a first down, Georgia Tech at the Clemson 31-yard line. You just joined us. C.J. Spiller scored on the opening drive for Clemson. They lead by 7. On a counter, Clemson played that beautifully as Anthony Allen's dumped by Daquan Bowers.
Now that play created some problems for Clemson the last time they played. They got some, this offense is based on bang, 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 and then a big chunk play, big yardage plays. This counter play was their big yardage play when they played the first time. That time, Daquan Bowers stayed at home on the backside and was ready for that particular play.
Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, he says Paul Johnson's patient. He doesn't mind losing a yard, gaining a couple, losing a couple more, and then they'll rip the big one on you. Dwyer hurdles a man, got back across the line of scrimmage, picked up a couple. But again, Ricky Sapp, the other defensive end, make that play.
This Clemson defense is really solid. I mean, they're strong and stout up front. Their defensive ends, Bowers and Sapp, are great pass rushers, and they cover a lot of ground. And they're experienced in the back end of their defense.
And if you think Georgia Tech has to throw on 3rd and 10, not necessarily. They might want to run it here and play for 4th down. Paul Johnson doesn't like to punt. Right now, they would be at the extent of their field goal range. Nesbitt slips and throws. Almost caught by Roddy Jones inside the 5.
Yeah, Roddy Jones came from the other side of the formation and adjusted to his quarterback scrambling. Here's Roddy Jones, and he's going to end up on this side of the field when he sees his quarterback scrambling. and comes down with a chance to make a big play. First down inside the 5 and not able to catch the football.
I mentioned the edge of Scott Blair's range. His career long is 45. This one's longer than that. From about 47, Blair to try to get Georgia Tech on the board, and he's got it. Nice kick. Halfway through the first quarter. Clemson in front, but Georgia Tech is answered with a field goal.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Dr. Pepper. The Coach's Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper will be awarded to the 2010 BCS National Champion. And in part by Xbox 360 and Forza Motorsport 3, rated everyone.
Georgia Tech had a couple of nice runs by Roddy Jones, moved down the field, but failed on a third down conversion, so they settled for Scott Blair's field goal from 48 yards, his longest ever, capping a 54-yard drive. 7-3 Clemson. Let's see if they use the same tactic on the kickoff that they did the first time. It was the high pooch kick to the far side, trying to keep it away from C.J. Spiller. This time, they'll let him have a shot at it from the 8. Spiller spins his way out across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. Dabo Swinney talking with us about having a guy like number 28 to coach.
I may never coach another guy like C.J. Spiller. You know, sometimes I think about that, and that, you know, there's a lot of guys out there, great football coaches, coach their whole life and don't get an opportunity to have a guy like this. He's special.
And no one will wear number 28 in Clemson football history anymore. Dabo Swinney said this week, that's it, it's retired. He's going in our Ring of Honor, and nobody's wearing that jersey again. That's a really big honor. C.J. will get a breather here. Jamie Harper will be in the Tigers' backfield. Play action. Parker got away from Morgan, lobbed it complete to Harper, and Harper got 5 or 6 out of it.
Parker's pass complete to number 8.
Yeah, the heat was coming from Derek Morgan again, but Kyle Parker did a nice job.
Yeah, he's so quick off the ball. Watch number 91. He just beats Thomas Austin, the best offensive lineman up there for Clemson, but it's just the quickness and the agility of Morgan. I mean, he may very well be an outside linebacker when he gets to the next level in the NFL, but again, Parker able to quickly get the ball out of his hands for the completion.
Spiller back in there on 2nd down and 4. Jacoby Ford in motion. And C.J. has got a first down. Let's check in with Aaron.
Brad, after Clemson scored that touchdown, Paul Johnson went over to his defense while they were in a huddle, and I'm told he rarely does that. And he basically told them, guys, this is not going to cut it. They can't just march down the field. Also, Derek Morgan, who, Brad, I know you know, is very soft-spoken guy. He was giving it to his defense. So a lot of emotions early on in this first quarter.
He's done his job so far, at least harassing the quarterback, but he hasn't gotten to him yet. First down. Clemson. Spiller avoided one man in the backfield. And he made something out of nothing there.
I'll go back to what Dabo Swinney was saying about C.J. Spiller. I mean, he says, use the term special. When we talked to him a couple weeks ago, he also used the term that he's a program changer.
Right.
I mean, he changed the face of Clemson football. And, you know, him choosing Clemson kind of opened the doors for them recruiting a lot of other guys. And, he has made a tremendous impact on the football team, the university, and the community during his 4 years at Clemson.
I think Kyle Parker just dropped his mouthpiece and might have had a little mud on it by the time he got it in there. Ellington in the backfield now, and here he goes. They think he might be the next C.J. Spiller, and he shows why.
And they are really high on him. And he only carried it 3 times when they played in September. He was really young then. Now he's not a youngster anymore. He's played a whole season. But they think he can be a difference maker as well, and does a nice job of cutting back on the zone play. He used his eyes, and he popped in there for a nice game.
Dabo told us the other day, sometimes when you squint watching film, that 23 looks like a 28. He'd love to have another one of those. First down, Tigers on the move again with a 7-3 lead. 5 minutes and change, first quarter. Ellington again. About 2, maybe 3.
The two teams that beat Georgia Tech this year, Miami and Georgia, had the same kind of formula. They ran the football. They outrushed Georgia Tech. They possessed the football. They kept Georgia Tech's offense off the field. And that's kind of what's going on right here. You know, last week, Georgia ran for 339 yards against the Tech defense.
They lead the country in time of possession, Georgia Tech, but in their 2 losses, they were outpossessed, including that loss to their arch rivals from Athens. Play action. Parker's got all day, runs out of time, got it to Harper. He's going to be dropped at about the line of scrimmage, though, as they run him out of bounds. C.J. Spiller on the sideline a little while ago. We talked about his toe being, he looks like he's limping. So whether he hurt it on the opening drive or not, I'm pretty sure we haven't seen the last of it.
Again, he's battled this. He injured his toe the very first game of the year, and those turf toes don't go away until you take like months off, which he's not had much time off at all.
In the shotgun, Parker on 3rd and 6. Fires it incomplete, intended for his tight end, Dwayne Allen. Gerard Tarrant got a hand on it.
Yeah, pretty good coverage by Tarrant.
So 4th down and 6 coming up. And Clemson's field goal and extra point attempts this year, at least when we saw them earlier this season, somewhat of a circus. Richard Jackson will try a long one from 52.
Well, he'll get some longer cleats on that plant foot.
Yeah. Had it on line, but not far enough. Still a good-looking drive. Came up empty. Georgia Tech's defense holds. The offense will be back on the field when we come back.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Never give up. To hear those words is enlightening and empowering. Raising money for cancer research, it's a fight, but it's one that I intend to win.
Hope you help us beat cancer. The V Foundation will proudly award 100% of your donation directly to fund cancer research. Log on to www.jimmyb.org or call 1-800-FOR-JIMMY-B to donate. And there's Mark Herzlich on the sideline. We'll talk with him later. Josh Nesbitt, quick throw to DeMaryius Thomas with a stiff arm, but holding on for dear life. Preston Butler does a nice job.
Yeah, he did do a nice job, because that's, you know, in order to defend the option, you get a lot of one-on-one situations out there with these Georgia Tech wide receivers, and that's a big old guy out there at 6'3", 230 pounds. And Butler did a nice job of not getting stiff-armed and getting him to the ground for a short game.
Georgia Tech's first drive, 5 different players ran the ball, probably the least prominent of which was John Dwyer. Here's Nesbitt. Puts his head down, and he's close to the first down. Ricky Sapp made the tackle. Moments ago, during the timeout, this was a scene. C.J. Spiller jogging into the tunnel and into the Clemson locker room. So that turf toe obviously bothering him again. And that could change the dynamics of the Clemson offense in a big way, although we still expect that he'll be back out there when he returns from that Tiger locker room. 3rd down and short, Georgia Tech. Yard to go.
This is why Georgia Tech is so good on 3rd downs. They're usually in shorter yardage situations with this running attack.
Nesbitt keeps it himself. He almost popped out the other side. Got to the 50.
See, that's a good read by Josh Nesbitt. Again, the inside tackles for Clemson are really clued in to Dwyer on the fullback dive. Watch how they swallow up the dive. So Josh's read is, okay, I can't give it there. The end crashed down. I'm going to take it out to the next level. He knows what he needed for the first down, and he gets a few more.
All the way to the 50. 2 minutes, 10 seconds, first quarter. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, and Aaron Andrews The Dr. Pepper ACC championship here in Tampa. Tech with a first down throw.
Oh, they had it.
Oh, they did have it. Embry Peebles, but the pass too far in front of him and incomplete as we check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Brad, time for a Sports Center right now. What a thriller in the Big East finale. Served as a championship game. Cincinnati rallied from 21 down to beat Pitt 45-44. Bearcats undefeated going to a BCS game. SEC championship game. Tim Tebow in Florida. 22-game winning streak snapped. Javier Arenas intercepting that pass as Alabama rolls past the Gators 32-13, headed to the national title game.
Here the winner goes to the FedEx Orange Bowl. Clemson's got the lead. Georgia Tech's got a third down coming up after another 2-yard run by Josh Nesbitt. Nesbitt came in, we mentioned, approaching the 900-yard mark in rushing. Already Georgia Tech's most prolific rusher as a quarterback. C.J. Spiller heading back to the Clemson sideline.
Yeah, I'm sure when Josh Nesbitt came to Georgia Tech, he was in a spread offense, a shotgun throwing offense in high school. I'm sure he didn't imagine that he would ever carry the ball 237 times this season,
including 17 touchdowns. And here goes John Dwyer. First down to the 27-yard line. We mentioned sometimes it's a yard loss, 2-yard gain, yard loss, 3-yard game, and then all of a sudden they pop one.
Yep, this time they kind of combo blocked. So the guard and the center blocked that nose tackle, and then the guard came off to the linebacker. And they were able to get the fullback through that time.
They moved the spot back to the 28-yard line. First down, Georgia Tech looking for their first touchdown of the game, trailing 7-3. Nesbitt will keep it to the 25 for a pickup of 3. Aaron?
Brad, an update from Georgia Tech. Right tackle Phil Smith, who we saw being taken off to the locker room with the left leg injury. He will not return for the game, so more bad news on the injury front for the Yellow Jackets.
Oh, boy, that's tough. Playing in your hometown in an ACC title game, and Phil Smith done for the Knights.
You know, we just saw Paul Johnson talking in the ear hole of one of his players and sending the play in that way. I mean, it's fascinating to me the way this guy calls a game. No play sheet, no cards, just a headset. He watches how the defense reacts, and he sends plays in one at a time with a player.
Here's a toss to right. And right down close to the first down inside the 20-yard line. That's the end of one. Clemson's got the lead. Georgia Tech's got the ball, and they're on the move. Dr. Pepper ACC championship game, 15 minutes complete. Forget Monday Night Football coming up. Green Bay Packers and Baltimore Ravens. Both teams battling to stay in the wild card playoff picture. Starts with Monday Night Countdown served up by Applebee's at 7. 8:30's the kick. Here it's the 9th play, the Georgia Tech drive as we start the second quarter. At the Clemson 18-yard line. John Dwyer got the corner. Dwyer knocked out of bounds as he's close to another first down. He might have it.
Well, the guy leading the way for him was his right guard, Cord Howard, who is making his 32nd consecutive start tonight. He's got named to the All-ACC team, one of 5 offensive players for Georgia Tech to be named that. And he kind of paved the way as Dwyer took that and got to the outside.
So a first and goal at the 8-yard line. This is where Josh Nesbitt can be so dangerous for Georgia Tech. He's already scored 17 times on the ground this year. Allen on the move. Straight up the gut, though, is Dwyer, and picked up about 2. Aaron?
Well, guys, just like you predicted, C.J. Spiller re-aggravating that toe injury. They wrapped it up in the locker room, but they said, you know, he is good to go. And I'll just let you know, I'm standing over here by Mark Herzlich, who played for BC and played against C.J. Spiller. We're going to talk to him in a minute, and he just told me, don't let that fool you. C.J. Spiller is so dangerous. He got hurt in a game against us and came up and killed us. So, words for Mark there.
Yep. Second and goal, Georgia Tech. Nesbitt, the late pitch to right. Might have snuck inside the 5, but that's about it.
Yeah. Clemson did a nice job of stringing that play out. They maintained outside leverage. They didn't give up the perimeter, and they were able to cover both the quarterback and the pitch man pretty effectively.
So that's 3rd and goal. Kevin Steele calling the defense. They did a great job in the second half of the first game against Georgia Tech.
When he says the whole thing is discipline with your eyes and then playing with great technique. Even more important than just flying around, you got to play with great technique and discipline.
Georgia Tech, 3rd and goal. Dwyer, touchdown. Last year's ACC Player of the Year. In the end zone on the ground for the 13th time.
This is nice discipline. They're going to double team right in here, but watch Dwyer hit it here and then bounce it outside using his eyes. The play's designed to go inside. He bounced it outside. Brad Sellers, the left tackle, got a nice block for him, and he takes it into the end zone.
Scott Blair's extra point inside the right uprights, and Georgia Tech has its first lead of the night. 65 yards in 12 plays. And Jonathan Dwyer capped it from 4 yards away. Aaron mentioned Mark Herzlich yesterday at the coaches and players luncheon. John Swaffer, the commissioner of the ACC, gave Mark Herzlich the ACC Commissioner's Cup. Big honor. And Mark's with EA right now.
Thanks, Brad. First of all, glad to see you here. I'm honored to be interviewing right now. First, let's talk about the question everybody asks you. What's the latest with your recovery and your treatment?
Well, 2 Mondays ago, I kind of completed the last step of my treatment process. I had a titanium rod placed through the center of my femur. It was about a 2-hour surgery, but came out of it and I'm able to walk now without crutches and, progressing very well.
And you had some good news, right? What is it?
Yeah, well, when they did the surgery, they were able to biopsy the bone, and they could not find any cancer at all. The tumor is completely gone, and, I've been very blessed.
It's terrific. Congratulations. And with that news, I know your health is the first priority, but, of course, everybody wants to know about the career. What's the next step for next season?
Well, the first step kind of was to get cleared by the doctor, and I was able to get cleared. The doctor said I can play on my leg. And then, going from now is whenever the leg starts feeling better, I can start running and lifting. And, if spring balls is possible, I can play in that. If not, I'll wait till the fall and play then.
It's tremendous news. Hey, you were here last year and the year before. Actually, you were named ACC's Defensive Player of the Year. This year, you've raised so much awareness and money for cancer research. What's that been like with all the work you've done off the field?
It's really been incredible. And, one thing that I talked about the other night, we had an awards banquet here for the ACC. And really, the ACC has come together like no other conference I've really seen, and pulled together as one and fought for a cause. And it's really been amazing for the teams and the coaches and the players to do such thing.
All right, do a better job than our Todd Blackledge. Analyze this game. What do you like so far?
I'm really impressed, with the offense being able to get the edge. On the same point, we know the defense for both teams needs to stop the run from getting outside. And I think it's important for Clemson to win first down on defense. If you can get Georgia Tech in second and long and third and long, it's very hard for them.
And a big interception there. Hey, we're going to let you go, but great news on your health. And I can't imagine when you get back on the field, man, you're going to have millions of fans that you never had before. Thank you so much for being such an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Aaron. And on the deflected pass, they'll review this play, but Dominique Reese appeared to intercept Kyle Parker off the hands of Ellington just before he went out of bounds. And it looked like he scraped his feet and that he had control. But here's another angle.
Well, Kyle Parker put a lot on this football, and it kind of snuck up and surprised Ellington. I thought Parker was going to run, and at the last minute he threw it to Ellington, and it looks like Reese was able to get that foot in. The question is, did he have possession of the football? And it looks like he does. Possession, his left foot appeared to be in.
I think he's got it all the way. Got it in his hands. There's the left foot. The right foot's even going to scrape, and he never gave it up. He kept his hand under the football. And you can see it's still under it as he hit the chalk mark. So Jeff Flanagan will let us know after the guys upstairs have their look.
We mentioned these quarterbacks needing to take care of the football and playing within their system. Kyle Parker had a nice game when they played last time, 261 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 interceptions in that first ball game.
Dan Post is our replay official. He'll be telling Jeff Flanagan, who's wearing the headset, our referee on the field, what he sees. And a big swing right here because the football is going to give Georgia Tech and their offense the ball back at the 45-yard line, their own, if indeed the interception stands.
Right now, Paul Johnson is thinking, and his wheels are always spinning as a play caller. And he watches the game and he watches how the defense reacts, and then he makes his adjustments accordingly. And I think it's pretty interesting the fact that he doesn't look down at a play card. Right. His eyes are on the defense all the time, and so he's constantly seeing where guys are and how they react to plays.
We talked to him yesterday, and I questioned. I said, Paul, I never asked you this. You don't have one of those big play sheets that's laminated with all the colored stuff on it and all that. He said, well, when I was at Georgia Southern, once in a while I'd carry a 4x6 index card in my back pocket if I needed to remind myself of something.
Well, the thing is, they don't have that many plays, quite honestly. They've got a handful of running plays, but they can block them a lot of different ways. But it's the same play with different blocks.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
And the Georgia Tech sideline erupts, as you might guess.
Now, one thing that he saw the last time they had the ball was that Andre McDaniel, who he has great respect for, the safety, number 2 for Clemson, was getting a little nosy coming up around the line, and he called a play-action pass that Josh Nesbitt missed. He made a bad throw, but McDaniel is a guy who really likes to get around the action and lives on the edge a little bit.
So first down, Georgia Tech at its own 45-yard line. Nesbitt going to keep it, and he's crumbled under after a gain of about 2 by Brandon May, the middle linebacker. Georgia Tech, their first 2 drives, a field goal, a career long for Scott Blair, and then a 65-yarder with John Dwyer scoring his 13th touchdown of the year.
They're an offense that obviously is committed to the run and reading the defense, but they get explosive plays. 34 runs this year of 20 yards or more. One of the best in the country.
John Dwyer will be on the move here. And Lyons takes it up the middle. Preston Lyons doesn't carry it a lot, but he got a good gain. Andre McDaniel, the guy Todd was just talking about, snuck in there from that safety spot to make the tackle.
Well, again, you've got to stop the dive first. And Lyons is the backup for Dwyer. This case, they had Dwyer as one of the pitch guys. Lyons is a transfer from Colgate, kid from Atlanta.
Dwyer actually playing the A-back there instead of the B-back.
There he is again. Dwyer's right here as the A.
3rd and 2. Same play. Same result. First down. Georgia Tech at 301 yards rushing the first time these 2 teams got together. They averaged 305.
A little interesting twist for Paul Johnson, putting Dwyer as the A-back. Again, they wanted to get him the ball on the perimeter some. Eventually, they'll just put him in motion like that and pitch it to him. Right now, he's back at his normal position right behind the quarterback.
Those A-backs are the 2 guys on the wing on the outside. The B-back, John Dwyer. Allen on the move, and he's going to get the pitch. Trying to get to the edge. Got a good gain. Got about 6 or 7. 11:30 remaining, first half, and time right now for tonight's trivia question. Who's the only person to be head coach at both Georgia Tech and Clemson? Give you a while to ponder that. Ball at the just inside the 37-yard line of Clemson now. Georgia Tech with the lead, 10-7.
We talked about the development of Josh Nesbitt in this offense. You can see just the game is slowed down. I mean, his run reads have been pretty sharp all night so far.
This time it's the first man, Jonathan Dwyer, and a nice job closing the door by Clemson defensively. Jonathan Willard was the first guy there.
You talk about what's a quarterback have to do in major college football. He's got to manage the game. He's got to take care of the football. I don't care what offense you run.
Right.
That's what he's got to do. I mean, for Josh Nesbitt, he's got to take care of the football and manage the game by making run reads, when to keep it, when to pitch it, when to hand it off. He may not have to throw it 30 times, but he still has to manage the game and play with efficiency.
You saw he hasn't completed one yet. He only completed 3 the first time these two teams played. Here's the toss on the pitch. Embry-Peebles, another nice gain. Pickup of 6. So they are really mixing it up, Georgia Tech, getting it in everyone's hands.
Yeah. And they're doing a great job of attacking the perimeter. And you can tell that Paul Johnson has come into this game saying, you know what, I'm not going to bang my head against the wall going against these 300-pounders inside. We're going to get outside, make those guys run a little bit, and then later in the game, the inside will be open.
Even on that play, Josh Nesbitt took a big hit from Brandon Thompson right after he pitched it. And those are the 2 big guys they had trouble with the first meeting. They're a load inside. 8 different ball carriers for Georgia Tech so far. And now we got motion. We'll see if it was Joseph Gilbert with a false start or if Jarvis Jenkins had a head of steam, and that's the reason Gilbert moved. First penalty of the game.
Offside. Defense. 5 yards. Still first down.
And it is Jenkins with the penalty. Get the latest on the teams and players you care about the most. Log on to ESPNChicago.com, Boston.com, and Dallas.com. A special sports center for your city, plus news, opinions, and inside info you're accustomed to with local flavor. Chicago, Boston, and Dallas at ESPN.com. 1st and 5 now with a penalty. Dwyer spun away from 1 and got about 3. And it's going to bring up another 3rd down and short. I beg your pardon, it's going to be 2nd down and short.
I don't know.
Well, Clater has just come out of the game now. So now we have another offensive tackle in. Clyde Yandel, number 78, is in the ball game. Looks like Clater might just have a contact issue going on there.
It's a contact sport.
Nice.
2nd down and 2. Nesbitt wants to throw. Across the middle. It's complete, but Peebles fell down trying to find the handle. But it's going to be 1st and goal.
That's the same play they called earlier that Nesbitt missed. The safety reacts to the option, thinking he's got to cover the pitch, and then Peebles circles back into the middle of the field. He shows like he's coming out to block on the option, and then runs right down the seam behind the defense.
Well, this is almost the same spot they had the 1st and goal last time they were driving. This one just outside the 8-yard line. Lyons checks in again as the V-back with Allen and Jones on the corners. And Lyons a yard, maybe 2 on the inside. Now under 8.5 minutes in the first half. Brisk pace, only 1 penalty.
See, this is the thing that Georgia Tech does to people. They grind you out running the football. They set you up for play action. And the whole time, they're wearing your defense down, and they limit the number of plays and opportunities your offense gets. They had 3 teams that played them this year that got 45 snaps or less.
And you want about 77.
Yeah.
And again, ball was not snapped. Roddy Jones, did he come out of his stance?
Well, I think about 10 guys came out of their stance.
It looked like nobody knew the snap count.
The only guy who didn't was the center.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 20, offense, simulating snap action. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
All right, so it did go on Roddy Jones officially. Could have been the whole team. Well, a couple minutes ago, we asked you tonight's trivia question. Who's the only guy to be head coach at both Georgia Tech and Clemson? How about John Heisman? There you go. Speaking of which, next Saturday night, the Heisman Trophy will be awarded. Who's going to win it? The voting will really pick up tomorrow as everybody waits to see what happens tonight. At least I do. Nesbitt drops back, and flags are down. Play blown dead.
False start. Offense, number 60, 5 yards. Still second down.
Brad Sellers with the false start. Aaron?
Brad just standing behind Dabo Swinney and Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator, and they keep pointing to their eyes, telling their defense, use your eyes. That's something, I just saw Dabo do it again. That's just something that they said it was going to be very important when going up against this Yellow Jackets offense. They just said, you have to watch them. Use those eyes.
And Aaron, I know Dabo told you before the game they spent a lot of time practicing without a football, just so those guys will play their assignments defensively. On second down, Nesbitt drops back to throw again. In trouble. Got away momentarily and then slipped and went down. Rennie Moore will get credit. A 7-yard loss and another flag on the field. Georgia Tech, 3 straight penalties. Well, here we were just talking about discipline and only 1 penalty, and boom, boom, boom.
Well, and they're getting out of their game because of it. In that case, it was a definite pass situation, and Clemson was able to double.
Offense number 70, 10 yards previous spot. Still second down.
So Gilbert, the left guard, with the holding call.
And you're going to see it right here. But this is not Georgia Tech's forte. You know, having to throw. They want to throw when everybody in the whole stadium is expecting run. Gilbert with the hold on the inside. Again, those big guys are tough to handle.
Thought they had first and goal at the 8. Now they got second down at the 28. DeMaryius Thomas, if you are thinking pass, is up to the top of your screen. Tech's leading receiver. Dwyer, man, and he gets stood up by Cavell Connor, the outside linebacker.
You know, we'll get back to that thing with the eyes. When we did the Clemson game a couple weeks ago against Florida State, I went to practice on Thursday, and Kevin Steele, I heard him say eyes, 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 probably 150 times. Well, this week he had to say it 350 times because, again, everything is based on seeing what they're doing, knowing where the ball is, and reading your keys in this offense. And one of the things they're doing, they only have 2 guys down in the stance. The 2 tackles are down. Everybody else is up so they can see into the backfield. The defensive ends are up and all the linebackers.
Straight drop. You almost never see it. Screen pass, flags all over the place. And a great play defensively by Jarvis Jenkins. Or was it Brandon Thompson? One of the big guys inside, and it's another holding penalty against Georgia Tech.
Now this is on the center.
Offense number 79. The penalty will be declined. 4th down.
Now does Georgia Tech out of field goal range with that play by the defense. This will be interesting. Scott Blair's already hit the longest of his career tonight. And Paul Johnson is going to send him out to see if he can do it again. And this one's going to be about 49. The last one was 48. Scott Blair from 49. He's got it on line. And he got it. 2 big kicks by the junior out of Calhoun, Georgia. So Georgia Tech had a first and goal. They had to settle for a long, long field goal, but they'll take it. 13-7.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. Big 12 championship game. A lot of turnovers. Colt McCoy's thrown 2 picks. Texas had a punt block, but after the punt block, Zach Lee throws his second interception of the game. Aaron Williams hauling it in. Nebraska with a 6-0 lead in the second quarter. It's on ABC.
All right, Reese, keep us posted. Georgia Tech, after the interception by Dominic Reese, got a 49-yard field goal from number 14. He's kicking pretty well for Georgia Tech, 13-7. And Blair's got it teed up. Will he kick it to C.J. Spiller? They have once tonight, not the other 2 times. This time they will. Always dangerous. Spiller from the 6. Cuts outside, makes a nice move at the 30. And run out of bounds as he crossed the 35-yard line. That's where Clemson will go to work now, trailing 13-7. With 5 minutes, 28 seconds remaining Here in the first half, we welcome the commissioner of the ACC, John Swofford, up to the booth. Commish, your thoughts on the game so far?
Well, good game, very competitive game, just like the first one. Strong running games and few penalties.
Yep, that's a good part. Georgia Tech had a couple they'd like to get rid of. This is the Tampa and the ACC championship game. We've done it in Jacksonville. Now it's a move next year, right?
We go to Charlotte next year to the geographic center of the ACC. Tampa's done an excellent job for us here, and we look forward to being in North Carolina. And Charlotte, a great ACC town.
You know, your conference and really all of college football is losing a great guy now with Bobby Bowden deciding to step down at Florida State. Your thoughts about Bobby Bowden?
Todd, he is what you see is what you get, and I've loved working with Bobby Bowden. He's been tremendous for the game of football and for the Atlantic Coast Conference. He's a gentleman, and that string of 14 years of finishing in the top 5 in the country, I'm not sure anybody will ever match that.
C.J. Spiller on 2nd down and 7. Burnett will run him out of bounds, but he got a first down. You know, we were talking about Bobby a little bit at the luncheon yesterday, John, and I mentioned his name, and it was amazing that, you know, they were all Clemson and Georgia Tech people and folks from Tampa and sponsor folks and all that. Everybody just stood up, had like a standing ovation, and Bobby wasn't there. That shows the impact he's had on the game.
Yes, it does. He's beloved, and rightfully so, and an absolute legend, and will be forever.
One of the things I thought was really cool, and Mark Herzlich brought it up, was how the conference has come together, and almost every team contributed a substantial amount to cancer research, and they all pooled that money together. I think it was up around $159,000 that the league has put together in honor of that.
It's really been gratifying to see what our schools have done throughout the league to support Mark in his fight against cancer, and to, you know, he was standing there a year ago as the Atlantic Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Year, could have gone out in the NFL draft, and then this hit his career and his life, and it's a much greater challenge than any football game, and he has met it with such a spirit. He's a tremendous inspiration.
I want to ask you about the bowl picture, John, just a second. On a 2nd down and 4. Clemson on the drive here in the last 3:45 of the second quarter. C.J. Spiller going to be spilled before he gets to the first down marker. 7 teams right now bowl eligible. You know where the winner of this one's going, the FedEx Orange Bowl. How's everything else shake out right now?
Well, of course, tomorrow we'll find out. I think on some of it will play off of who wins this game, and then we have the selection process that we go through as a conference tomorrow, just like you have the BCS selections. And it's a great thing for our league, you know, to have that tie-in with the FedEx Orange Bowl, where you have a game like this where it's not only for the ACC championship, but the opportunity to play in Miami in the FedEx Orange Bowl.
3rd down and 2. Pitch. Spiller might be gone. Touchdown. In the locker room a few minutes ago, in the end zone again for 41 yards.
Well, they did a great job of selling the inside run. The entire side of the Georgia Tech defense crashed inside. They got the quick pitch to Spiller, and all he needed was a crease to get his shoulders turned upfield, and the speed took over after that.
The pylon went down. C.J. over on the sidelines with another big play.
And he's still not feeling good either. He kind of limped off after that run at the end of the run.
One more look. Dragging his left foot to the pylon. They're reviewing whether or not he's in. He wasn't. He's about 2 inches from the goal line. 65-yard drive, all C.J. Spiller. Morgan Burnett.
I think it's a touchdown. He drug his foot and it hit the pylon. It was called a touchdown on the field.
You see the sod come up. Yeah. Most of it looks green to me.
I was thinking the same thing. I didn't see any white popping up there.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. A touchdown.
It is a touchdown. John, we're going to let you go, but first of all, talk about the Gator Bowl. We were talking about Bobby Bowden. Possibility that could happen, right?
Well, contractually, that could happen, and we'll just have to see how the selections play out tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. Go enjoy the rest of the game.
Thanks, Brad.
Good to see you.
Good to be with both of you.
See you, John. John Swofford, commissioner of the ACC, along with us as C.J. Spiller's made the game even more exciting. Snap is a little wide, and now extra points. Michael Wade throws, it's intercepted. Wait a minute, coming the other way. They're going to say stepped out of bounds. Well, a little bit of excitement. What more could you ask for? Now we got a tie game. I told you sometimes the extra point attempts can be a little bit dramatic for Clemson. That one was more drama than they were planning on. 13-13.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Bud Light, with the just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light. The difference is drinkability. And Aflac, we've got you under our wing.
C.J. Spiller with another touchdown, this one from 41 yards away. The extra point, not good. C.J. went over the 1,000-yard mark on that last touchdown romp as well. And he's got 123 yards on the night already, and we haven't hit halftime.
Tell you what, he's playing hurt.
Yes, he is.
Every time he goes off to the sideline, he's getting something done or looked at. Or
Spencer Benton to kick. Short kick, going to have to hustle to get to it. At about the 15, and Owen Smith got a little bit of an alley. Got across the 35 out to the 36-yard line. That's where Georgia Tech's got 2:49 and all their timeouts with which to work. So we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary here through most of 2 quarters. C.J. Spiller, I mentioned, 2 touchdowns, one a short one, and one from 41 yards away. Showing his speed, showing why he's the player of the year in the conference. But Georgia Tech's had answers, too, getting it on the edge to Ronnie Jones, who's had a couple of long runs. Jonathan Dwyer, a hard-fought touchdown. And Scott Blair's hit a couple of long field goals, career-long field goals, and we're even at 13. Nesbitt fakes the pitch, going to go up on top, got a man out there. Dwyer was open, and he overshot him. Let's check in with Reese.
Hey, Brad, coming up on the Wendy's halftime report, Texas has hit a little bump in the road in its hopes of getting to Pasadena. Nebraska has the Longhorns locked in a struggle, and a title for the Tide. SEC championship for Alabama. They're on their way to the national championship game. Plenty of scores and highlights coming up. Also some analysis from Dr. Lou and Mayday when you come back at the half.
All right, Reese, we'll see you guys in a little less than 3 minutes.
We saw that Nebraska defense a couple weeks ago. They're for real.
They are. Nesbitt, late pitch. Jones lost the ball, but Nesbitt covered it. Well, that's a tough quarterback. He followed the play and covered the fumble. You know, if you look at Josh Nesbitt, you haven't watched this kind of offense over the course of the season, or you haven't seen Georgia Tech play. The hits that he takes, either before the pitch, keeping the football, all of that.
Yeah.
And they had a poll of his teammates. Who's the toughest guy on the team? The team voted overwhelmingly. Josh Nesbitt's the toughest guy on the team. Not that quarterbacks aren't always tough, Todd.
Most of us are.
Dwyer's got a first down. And 2 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. Georgia Tech again. Both teams have all their timeouts. So they'll move the sticks. At the 47. And Nesbitt took another big hit. This one from Cavell Connor, no gain on that play.
I'll tell you what, 98 and 99 on the inside of Clemson's defense make it tough. They are really quick and they're powerful right around the ball.
That one might need some explanation. We'll try to bring you up to date later. Not only will Reese, Mark, and Lou be along at half. halftime, but Jesse Palmer will join him tomorrow night for the bowl selection special. Matchups in all 34 bowl games. They'll dissect all of that. And the coaches will join him for an inside perspective. Bowl selection special powered by Chevy Silverado. 8 o'clock tomorrow night. David May took the loss, Clemson at Georgia Tech, back on September 10th. Pretty hard. Became a YouTube sensation, and that's why there's no crying on ESPN. Nesbitt drops to throw, getting pressure, and throws this one complete. Really close to a first down to Tyler Melton. By the way, David May's not at the game. We understand he has finals. Sometimes school gets in the way of a good time. I hate when that used to happen. My daughter hates it to this point in life. But sometimes you have to take tests. In this case, Georgia Tech with a hurry-up test on 3rd down and a yard. With 1:13 remaining in the half. Dwyer's got the first and falls forward for a couple more. Close to the 40-yard line. Again, Georgia Tech's got 2 timeouts left. And while they move the sticks, clock is stopped at 1:09.
And that enabled, because they were on this hash, Paul Johnson didn't have to send a player, and he could just call Josh Nesbitt over and give him the next play call to be ready to go.
Josh going to throw on the run, and you don't throw many, and he doesn't drop many, but he dropped a big one against Georgia, and he dropped one there as he had to go down to a knee to try to handle it. DeMaryius Thomas, who has been a non-factor so far tonight.
Yeah, you want to try to get him involved. It's a little bit low, but it's still a ball that more times than not, DeMaryius Thomas is going to make that catch.
Yep. He would have had to take it right there because he was already on a knee, so there would have been no advancement. 2 drop passes tonight for Georgia Tech. 2nd down at 10. Nesbitt wants to throw back the other way and does to Hill. And Hill's down to the 33, maybe the 32-yard line.
Timeout, Georgia Tech. Didn't get the first down, so the clock was continuing to go down, and Paul Johnson elects to use one of his 2 timeouts.
So they'll talk it over. They still got 48 seconds trying to change the 13-13 up there on the scoreboard. Paul Johnson with his offense around him. Sends him out with 48 seconds remaining in the half. You see Allen, Peebles, Dwyer, Nesbitt, Melton at a wide receiver.
And for Georgia Tech, this is their 11th 3rd down play tonight. 6 of them have been 3rd and 2 or less, so right in their wheelhouse.
They're 8 out of 10 on 3rd downs tonight. Nesbitt strives for it and gets inside the 30 to the 29. First down.
Again, they're on the right hash. They can communicate what they want to do. This time they're going to spike the football, I think, and get in the huddle and call the next play.
Well, they spot the ball right at the 30. Not ready for play yet. Now the umpire backs out. And they will spike it. 39 seconds remaining. Reminder, Monday Night Football. Frozen tundra of Green Bay. A couple teams fighting to stay in the wild card hunt. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers taking on Ray Lewis and the Ravens. Ravens-Packers, ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern Time. Coverage starts with Monday Night Countdown served up by Applebee's at 7 o'clock. C.J. Spiller looking on from the Clemson sideline. I'm sure there'll be a day when we'll see C.J. Spiller on Monday Night Football. 10th play of the Georgia Tech drive. Dwyer, only a couple though.
Well defended by Clemson, and it forces Paul Johnson to use his last timeout. I think he was thinking either the quarterback keeps or they might spring one out on that play.
It looked like he was giving Josh the signal like you should have pulled that one back. And that's the counter punching and trying to set up the defense that Paul Johnson's so known for. Let's take a look at our Good Hands flashback brought to you by Allstate. Back in 2004, Reggie Ball to Calvin Johnson. He's still pretty good, Calvin. Georgia Tech won at 28-24. One of the highlights for Reggie Ball. He had some low moments, some high moments, but he had a heck of a receiver to throw to in Calvin Johnson. Wow. And Georgia Tech, their #1 receiver tonight, DeMaryius Thomas, is 0 for so far. But will they try to get it in his hands here? He's over on the sideline. Now he's coming back out to the huddle.
Well, both Thomas who is a junior, and a sensational freshman, Stephen Hill, are tall, big, rangy receivers. And a lot of times when they get those individual one-on-one matchups, they just throw the ball up and let them play basketball. Let them go up there and rebound the ball and use their big bodies to shield defenders.
That big body of Bebe Thomas goes out wide to the left to the top of your screen. 3rd down and 8. Georgia Tech. They'll come back the other way, and it's incomplete. Hill was the intended receiver. There was contact, and now a late flag.
Yeah, I think it was a good call. Creston Butler, for whatever reason, just ran into the receiver. I don't think this ball was going to be completed. It was not a...
Defense, number 18. The penalty is a foul. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
What a huge penalty.
Yeah. It looked like there was a misfire between Nesbitt and Stephen Hill, and it would not have been completed. And Creston Butler hit him anyway. I mean, Hill was not going to be able to come back and make that catch, and Butler hit him for no reason.
Now Nesbitt drops on first down, and he'll throw this one away at the 19-yard line. They'll have a 2nd down situation here with 26 seconds remaining. Coming up at halftime, Dr. Pepper Throw for Scholarship Doe event. Dylan Jepkema and from Kalamazoo Mission, and Paul Berkmeyer from Fountaintown, Indiana, going to attempt to throw footballs into an 8-foot giant Dr. Pepper can to win a $123,000 scholarship. That goes a long ways, yeah, I would think. And we met those two guys last night at the Dr. Pepper get-together. I don't know who's got the better arm. We tried to school them a little bit, or Todd did. We'll see if it paid off. Right now, Georgia Tech could use a completion. Or will they run it? They're out of timeouts. Nesbitt throws the out, completes, but it's short of the first down. Yep, got it to Tyler Melton. They got a hustle, picked up 7. Clemson trying to change up defensive bodies, so some confusion on their side of the football, and Nesbitt clocks it with 9 seconds remaining.
Time for Scott Blair again. Look, Paul, like, doesn't want to, but no. Okay, let's go ahead.
Let's go ahead and get 3 more.
Try to get a field goal.
Scott Blair has been perfect, and it's been from long range. This one should be easier from 28 yards out. Try to get Georgia Tech to lead again. Oh, that was close.
They blew it dead, though.
Prior to the snap, Clemson called timeout.
They'll have to try to do it again. Clemson had all of its timeouts, so Dabo Swinney uses one. Paul Johnson looking up at that scoreboard, knowing that there's just 9 seconds remaining. You know, the first time these two teams got together, Georgia Tech had a little trick play when they threw to DeMaryius Thomas for a touchdown out of field goal formation. I don't think they'll try that here, but
I don't think so.
And then the league kind of told them the way they did it last time wasn't so good.
Yeah, well, it was one of those mass substitutions, run a bunch of guys on, run a bunch of guys off, and DeMaryius Thomas kind of stayed on the field, and they were able to surprise the Clemson defense with that play, and not really a legal play. And you know, Scott Blair did the right thing, though. I mean, he kicked when they asked him to kick, and when he was asked to throw. Here's the mass substitution, and DeMaryius Thomas going to stay on the field, and nobody accounts for him on the Clemson defense. Blair just catches the direct snap and throws it out to the big receiver, and they score a touchdown out of it.
So, Scott Blair, 2 for 2 tonight. Can he make it 3 in a row from 28 yards away? This one inside the left upright. It's good. Georgia Tech has added to its advantage with just 6 seconds remaining in the half. Kyle Parker probably will just take a knee when we come back if we even get through the kickoff, but Georgia Tech's got a 3-point lead. Georgia Tech a 53-yard drive in 15 plays, a little under 3 minutes, and they used just about all of that second quarter clock to get the field goal. Something to keep in mind, Paul Johnson at Georgia Tech is 14-1 when he's got the lead at halftime.
I was pretty impressed with the way they ran the clock offense, too. You don't think of a team that's an option team. being that skilled maybe in running a clock situation like that, but Josh Nesbitt knew what to do, managed the clock, spiked the ball when they needed to, called timeouts in the right places, and got the field goal to seemingly take the lead here at halftime.
You would assume they'd try to kick this one high and not to Spiller, because CJ can make 6 seconds seem awfully long if he gets in the open field on a kick return. There it comes. Fair catch taken at the 25. Chad Deal, the fullback. So there will be a snap offensively for Clemson here. He's showing some emotion on the sideline. He's going, let's go. Be interesting to see the adjustments made by both teams at halftime. Remember, it was all Georgia Tech the first time they got together in the first half. It was all Clemson in the second half, both offensively and defensively. So this one's got a lot of football left to it in the third and fourth quarters.
Georgia Tech will get the ball first to start the second half. So the Clemson defense will have to go in there and make those adjustments first and foremost.
Good game through 2 quarters. 2 touchdowns by C.J. Spiller. John Dwyer's got one for Georgia Tech. Scott Blair's hit all his field goals, and it's 13-13 as we check in with Eric.
Dabo, you told me this week, let's not get down 21-0. You're not, but what's the biggest adjustment your defense needs to make at half?
Well, we got to win on first and second down. You know, when they're getting in third and short, that's uphill sledding right there. So we got to do a better job on first and second down on defense. You know, we're holding them to some field goals. That's a tough pass interference right there. But offensively, you know, we missed the field goal, and then we dropped that they bobbled it for a pick. So we really hadn't stopped us either, so it's kind of been back and forth. But I think the critical thing is first and second down.
Hey, CJ re-injured that toe. How will that impact him here in the second half?
Well, he didn't get a shot before the game. He tried to play without a shot, and so he went in and got a shot. So he's wide open.
All right, thanks, Brad.
All right. Got a lot of sledding left, Coach. 16-13, Georgia Tech. The battle for the Dr. Pepper ACC title at halftime as we send it to the Wendy's halftime report. Reese Davis and the guys, fellas.
When you say my name, when you say my name, when you say my name, they gon' say I'm connected everywhere. I'm connected everywhere. I'm connected everywhere. When you say my name, when you say my name, when you say my name, they gon' say I'm connected everywhere. I'm connected everywhere.
Welcome back to Jimmy V Week as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation for Cancer Research. And also welcome back to the Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship here in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. Just about set to start the third quarter. 16-13, Georgia Tech leads at the break. As we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, statistically, in the first half, Georgia Tech, mostly what you look at when you look at the game summary is the time of possession. And that's what we talked about with Georgia Tech. They almost had the ball 10 minutes more than Clemson. If you can't get your hands on the football, partner, you can't win a game.
Yeah, you can't run enough plays. And then, you know, that's the other thing. Georgia Tech ran 24 more plays than Clemson in that first half. And, you know, the strange thing about this game, even though Clemson's only down 3, and when they played in September, they were down 17 at halftime. Right. The game is following Georgia Tech's script because of possession time, because of the total plays. Georgia Tech had 12 third down plays. 9 of those 12 attempts were 4 yards or less. So just what Dabo Swinney told Aaron, they've got to do a better job on first and second down to keep Georgia Tech out of those easy makeable third down plays.
Georgia Tech had scoring drives of 9, 12, 12, and 15 plays. So let's see if Clemson can possess the football a little bit more in the second half. It's going to be Georgia Tech, though, first on offense.
And it was the third quarter when they played in September where Clemson's defense really came alive and shut down the Georgia Tech offense.
Spencer Benton to kick. Second half underway. Another short kick taken at the 12 by Orland Smith. And he got out to about the 29-yard line. Let's check in with Aaron.
Brad, I got a chance to speak with Georgia Tech head coach Paul Johnson, and for his defense, he just wants them to settle down and tackle better. Felt like there was a few busted big plays on a few busted coverages, and then guys offensively, he said, I just want him to finish drives. That's it. That's the biggest thing I asked him offensively.
That's what he hates, is having to kick field goals, though his kicker has been a huge asset tonight for Georgia Tech, and that's Scott Blair, who was 3 for 3 in the first half. So here's Josh Nesbitt and the Georgia Tech offense at its own 29-yard line. Pitch to Ronnie Jones. This is the way the first drive started for Georgia Tech, almost a carbon copy. This time he only got 14. He went 21 the first time he touched it.
Nice job by the other A-back, Anthony Allen, blocking out on the perimeter. They got the pitch. They made the right read. Josh Nesbitt did, and then the other A-back did a nice job of blocking downfield to secure that edge.
So first down immediately near the 45-yard line for Georgia Tech. In the middle, that's where the sledding, as Dabo would say, was tough, because that defensive line just closed the door on John Dwyer.
Now these two guys on the inside, Jenkins number 99 and Thompson number 98, very good at stuffing things. And then of course Daquan Bowers is 280 pounds as a defensive end, so they are very stout up front. And that dive play is tough to get against them, but they have gotten the perimeter on this Clemson defense.
So no gain on that one. 2nd and 10. Nesbitt took a shot in the backfield from Daquan Bowers, and no gain again. Now 3rd down at 10. Now in the second half of the first meeting this year, Georgia Tech had so many 3-and-outs, it was unbelievable. Majority of the 3-and-outs they've had all year came in that half.
Well, it's amazing because Georgia Tech's offense leads the nation in the fewest 3-and-outs of anybody. And they've only had 14 coming into tonight. 12 games, 14 3-and-outs, but half of those 7 came when they played Clemson back in September.
So let's see if the Clemson defense can force a punt from Georgia Tech. They haven't had a punt from Georgia Tech tonight. Nesbitt, well, his man was on the ground already, Embry Peoples, but this might change what Paul Johnson's thinking about doing here. It's 4th down and about a yard, and he's not afraid to go on 4th down. I just don't know on this spot on the field if he will. Yes, he will.
I don't think there's any question. I mean, he wasn't even considering it. He was already in the ear of Roddy Jones sending in the play.
He told us yesterday just soon go a whole game without punting if he didn't have to. So here's a big play for the Clemson defense if they can get a stop. Trying to draw him offside is Nesbitt, and now they go with it. Pitch, Allen's got it. Easily on the corner. Pick up a 6, and now he goes right back to sending in another play.
Yep. Clemson thought it was dive for sure. Watch how hard they hit Dwyer. They were expecting Dwyer, and it was the pitch to the outside again. Nice block that time by Roddy Jones as Anthony Allen got the ball to the edge. These two A-backs do a nice job of blocking for each other on the perimeter runs.
Now it's Preston Lyons behind Josh Nesbitt, and he's going to get the call.
There's no pitch guy.
There was no pitch guy.
That was a bit of a problem.
Josh is saying, I need a little help back here.
Well, the A-back, number 3, Marcus Wright, is supposed to be out there behind him, and Josh is, it's a good thing he didn't just throw it out there. First time we've seen them out of sync on running the play.
3rd time this drive they've had no gain or a loss, but they found a way to get the first down. 2nd down at 11 here. Now he's got a pitch man, but he's going to keep it himself. Wow, what a run. Josh Nesbitt goes 15 more.
Yeah, again, watch how they crash down on the dive, and when he sees that, He's going to pull the ball. The dive is swallowed up. Now it's one-on-one out there, and he just fakes out Cavell Connor. Gives a little pitch fake. Cavell Connor gets caught in no man's land. Which guy do I cover? And Josh Nesbitt does a nice job of turning it in for a big game.
For Georgia Tech, their opening march. They've worked it down to the 26-yard line. Again, inside handoff to John Dwyer, and Jonathan all wrapped up again.
See, here's the other thing that this kind of offense does to your team, if you're Clemson. They ran 24 more plays than you did in the first half. They held the ball almost 10 minutes more than you had it. What that does is that offense that's itching to get on the field on the other side, they think when we get on, we got to score. Right. We got to make a big play. We got to do something. You know, they're only 3 down, but it puts that sense of urgency into you because you're on the sideline so much.
Nesbitt close to the first down.
See, this is where Josh Nesbitt has really grown in this offense. I mean, he's so much more comfortable running and managing it, and he understands. I mean, you know, just read it. See what the defense does. They're taking Jonathan Dwyer away. All right, well, then you just pull the ball out and take it to the next level. And he's a big physical runner at 215 pounds. He gets those extra yards.
4th time tonight, Georgia Tech has been 3rd and 1. And if they don't get it here, they'll go again, probably. Nesbitt got it, and then some.
Yeah. And that makes them 10 for 14 now, conversions on 3rd down. And again, the majority of those attempts have been 4 yards or less. And so when you're 4 yards or less in this offense, you don't have to throw. I mean, that's option football. That's ideal.
4th time that Josh has run for a first down on 3rd down tonight. And now they work it down to the 13-yard line. C.J. Spiller and that offense of Clemson, as Todd said, can only look on. Nothing they can do about it right now. Nesbitt again, left side. Touchdown.
Wow.
18th rushing touchdown of the year for the quarterback of Georgia Tech.
This one here was a designed quarterback run with 2 lead blockers. Both A-backs end up in a position. Watch 18 and 20 both lead Nesbitt up in there. This is a design keeper by the quarterback. He's got both A-backs leading the way, and it's a touchdown.
Blair's extra points is good. What an opening march for number 9 and Georgia Tech, and they extend their lead to 10. 9-12, 3rd quarter, 23-13.
Enjoy your life, the precious moments you take away all my physical ability. It cannot touch my mind, my heart, and it cannot touch my soul. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
We hope you help us beat cancer. 100% of your donations directly to fund cancer research. Log on to www.jimmyv.org or call 1-800-for-Jimmy-V to donate. With the NC State flag and the moon over Tampa. Of course, the great seasons Jimmy V gave us as a head coach of the whole pack.
Well, that's got to be frustrating for Clemson. I mean, they're in the locker room. They're talking defense. They know they're coming on the field first, and Georgia Tech goes right down the field on them.
Really short kick this time. And fielded at about the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah, the previous ones have been good, but Scott Blair has been near perfect for Georgia Tech tonight, so I guess one short kick maybe isn't that bad. There's Dabo Shaw, the backup quarterback. Josh Nesbitt with the headphones on. Georgia Tech 71-11, and Todd, there goes 6 more minutes.
Yeah, I know. It makes your offense antsy, and it makes your defense tired. I mean, it does both things.
Right. Well, now it's up to Kyle Parker and the player of the year in the conference to bring Clemson back. They trail by 10. Jacoby Ford in motion. C.J. Spiller trying to cut back, and Derek Morgan's not going to let it. Loss on the play. Well, there's the offensive player of the year and the defensive player of the year in the ACC saying hello.
Again, he's so quick off the ball, and they're trying to cut him off with Jacoby Ford. I mean, that's not a real high percentage play for Clemson, trying to use your little wide receiver to cut out the legs of the best defensive player in the conference.
First time for no gain or a loss for C.J. Spiller tonight. Second down 11. Spiller follows his blockers, run down from behind by Brad Jefferson, or he might have ripped off another big gain.
Well, rather than try to cut him off with a wide receiver, try double teaming him with a tight end and a tackle. That's a better percentage for Clemson. This time they get him on the ground, and Spiller is able to gain some positive yards.
Boy, if you want to answer, if you're Clemson, you better come up with 6 yards right here. You don't want to give it back to Georgia Tech. A 3 and out's the last thing you need. Parker fires complete to his tight end Palmer, and he's got a bunch of yards inside the 40 and still taking Yellow Jackets with him down to the 36-yard line.
Yeah, he was wide open, and kind of surprising, a guy with 38 catches and the second favorite target. I mean, he's right here. He's just going to run an out route, and he's going to be right in the open. No linebacker runs out underneath him, and a real easy throw for Kyle Parker.
So that's a second catch tonight for Palmer. Both picked up first downs on third down. He goes out. Clemson continues to move.
That was a huge conversion, Brad. Just like you mentioned, they had to keep the football.
3 wideouts here. C.J. Spiller trying to cut it outside. Nice job defensively by Michael Peterson to push him out of bounds for no gain. Reminder, Reese Davis, Mark May, Lou Holtz, and Jesse Palmer tomorrow night, bowl selection special. They'll talk about all 34 bowl games and dissect everything for you. Coaches will join them for an inside perspective. It's a bowl selection special powered by Chevy Silverado tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Well, we know where one of these teams will go. You know, trying to get back to the Orange Bowl. It's amazing. For Georgia Tech, their last major bowl was the 1966 Orange Bowl. Clemson, their last major bowl, the 1981 Orange Bowl, when they won the national championship.
Under Danny Ford, who was the legend that was introduced yesterday for Clemson. Spiller, he's got it. He's gone.
What a great play. What a great play.
36 more yards for the touchdown.
They brought Jacoby Ford in motion and made it look like reverse. Meanwhile, Michael Palmer is going to get a seal on the edge, and the whole Georgia Tech defense reacted to the reverse. They're still running after Jacoby Ford, and C.J. Spiller's running down the left sideline.
Third touchdown for C.J. Spiller tonight. The extra point will make it a 3-point game if Richard Jackson hits it. And he does. The ACC Player of the Year, playing in pain, playing because he came back for a moment like this. 3 touchdowns on the night for number 28.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Bud Light. With the just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light. The difference is drinkability. And the Home Depot. Visit HomeDepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Let you love the touchdown. Yeah. Clemson loves the results.
Well, I love the deception. We talk about discipline with the eyes, how important that was for Clemson's defense. Same thing for Georgia Tech. When Jacoby Ford fakes the reverse, watch these 2 defenders go with the reverse and lose sight of C.J. Spiller. They're going to follow Ford, and their eyes are on Ford, and nobody sees Spiller come out the other side. It was a well-timed call by Billy Napier, the offensive coordinator, and it really caught that Georgia Tech defense off guard.
60-yard march, 5 plays. Another touchdown for C.J. Spiller, 3 on the night. of 3, 36, and 41. Benton to kick. At the 5, Orland Smith. And he got it out to the 30-yard line. 6:33 in the third. Let's take a look at tonight's Verizon Wireless playbook.
Well, I love Georgia Tech's last touchdown, too. They're going to lead with this A-back and a way to get an extra blocker on the side. Even though they know the quarterback's going to keep, they bring the other A-back, Roddy Jones, over. Now they have an extra lead blocker. They have more blockers than Clemson has defenders on that side. And Josh Nesbitt's able to take it into the end zone. They give up the dive. And then they get an extra blocker with Roddy Jones and Anthony Allen on the same side for the touchdown.
Georgia Tech now from the 30-yard line. And again, Dwyer inside, good for a yard, maybe 2, as we check in with Reese.
All right, Brad, I want to put your finger on the primetime pulse. Texas is still struggling with Nebraska. I mean, Ndamukong Suh has been unbelievable. He's got 3.5 sacks, but the Texas defense has been just as tough against the Nebraska offense. 7-6 game on ESPN2. South Florida and UConn in the snow. The Huskies up by 6.
Here it's cold for Tampa. Well, we got a red-hot game. And now Clemson's defense, another loss of 2. Ricky Sapp, big play. Georgia Tech will be in 3rd and long. Let's check in with Eric.
And Brad, Clemson's defense really just feeding off the touchdown that their offense scored, because I got to tell you, when they came off onto the field or onto the sidelines, they were kind of barking at each other after Josh Nesbitt had that touchdown. They were all screaming at each other, listen to me, Josh Nesbitt is going to run the ball. And as soon as their offense scored, man, they were jumping around, hugging each other. New life for this D here.
See if they can come up with a stop on 3rd and 10. Nesbitt lofts one, got a man, Thomas. He's got it, he might be gone. Touchdown. Just like that for number 8.
Well, it was a double move. It was a little stop and go by DeMaryius Thomas. He's working one-on-one on Creston Butler. I'm not sure why on 3rd and 10 you have no safety help over the top on the only real dangerous receiver that they've got in their offense right now. You know, when we talked to Kevin Steele, he said the one thing we didn't have when we played him the last time, because we only had a couple days, it was a Thursday night game, we didn't really have a 3rd down package going into the game. And he said, I learned that we need to have a 3rd down package when we play him this time. Well, it was 3rd and 10, and they were single coverage on the outside against DeMaryius Thomas.
After further review, ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown.
The longest pass play allowed by Clemson this year. 70 yards. DeMaryius Thomas, who had not been a factor until right there. He's 2nd in the country in yards per catch at almost 25. That one went 70. Blair's extra point is good. 30-20. What an answer for Georgia Tech. There's a guy that can pack away the chow. Todd's taste of the town. He's eating fast when we come back. Marcus Gilchrist not feeling too good right now, as DeMaryius Thomas with a 70-yard touchdown catch.
Well, here's Gilchrist. Now, Butler is here. He's going to give up the long pass, but watch Gilchrist. I think he got frozen looking in the backfield and didn't get out to help his corner. At the very least, if he's out there, he stops a touchdown. He makes a tackle at about the 50-yard line, and it's a long gain, but it's not a touchdown. And I think Marcus Gilchrist had his eyes undisciplined, locked in the backfield, and wasn't there to help his partner on the corner.
He made the tackle, but it was when Bebe Thomas had his left foot in the end zone.
Yep.
8th touchdown catch of the year, by the way, for DeMaryius Thomas. And for Josh Nesbitt, his 10th. throwing score of the year. Scott Blair's going to kick away. C.J. Spiller, can he have an answer from the 14? Spiller, whoops. C.J. got himself that time. Trying to change directions, trying to cut back and give some ground to gain some ground. And he ended up on his backside at the 25-yard line. Coming up, Lambeau Field, Monday night. Green Bay Packers host the Baltimore Ravens. Everything starts with Monday Night Countdown, served up by Applebee's at 7. Kickoff 8:30. Those two teams staying in or trying to stay in the wild card playoff hunt. Well, Clemson had a nice drive last time. Yeah. C.J. Spiller scored a touchdown. They're down 10 again. Can they have another answer? They'll do it without C.J. on the field right now. Two tight ends set here for the Tigers. Harper, nice run right up the middle, out to the 32, almost the 33-yard line.
See, it's not a time to panic for the Clemson offense. There's still a lot of time left in the football game. Yes, they're down by 10, and they do need to respond. But again, they don't need to panic right now. Kyle Parker's just got to play with poise, and he's done that for the most part so far this ball game.
Second down at 4. Harper puts his head down and gets the first down. 5 more for Jamie Harper, 230-pounder, another Florida native out of Jacksonville. And now number 28 coming back out. Where's that number 28? Because his hero when he was young was Warwick Dunn, who played on the same field for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dos Ocho. First down, Tigers. Their own 37. 4 minutes remaining, third quarter. Spiller hops in a hole in the middle and got 2 more. Brad Jefferson made the tackle for Georgia Tech. C.J. Spiller and Warwick Dunn talk about careers that are pretty similar. Yeah. Of course, Warwick did it for the Seminoles of Florida State. And I know Bobby Bowden is watching this game tonight. Coach, wherever you might be with Miss Ann, maybe taking the game in. Todd and I personally, and Aaron, we're all going to miss you. Yes. Conference is going to miss you big time. And college football is going to miss you. Second down and 8. They fake the toss. The throw. Again, the tight end. This time he won't get the first down. Knocked out of bounds by Anthony Barnes.
Pretty nice throw, though. Again, watch the quick release of Kyle Parker. He feels the heat coming. Boom, it's out of there. Gone. And a nice tackle on the sideline, but a third and very manageable opportunity for Clemson. This is where he looks for Palmer a lot in this kind of a situation.
Palmer's in the slot on the right side on third down and 4. He's going to move back the other way. Parker fires, complete, and it's Jacoby Ford for the first down. Jacoby's been kind of quiet.
Yeah.
You got to watch out. One of these times they're going to lay one out there and let him use his track speed.
But you know Georgia Tech's aware of him on the last Spiller touchdown when they just faked the reverse. He drew a lot of attention. Yep. So Georgia Tech very aware of the big play potential of Jacoby Ford, and Ford did a nice job of going down and getting under that football. I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Napier takes a shot down the field to Jacoby Ford here soon. I mean, they've not tried to really stretch the defense in the passing game.
Did not start on time. Please reset the clock to 3:05, please. 3:05.
There's Billy Napier, the youngest coordinator in the ACC.
Yep.
Dabo Swinney is head coach, one of the youngest coaches around, just turned 40. No gray hair up there on top yet.
It's all on the inside right now. I guarantee you there's some there.
First and 10. Spiller. Nice job by Georgia Tech's Mario Butler sort of staying home. He helps number 28 up after he makes the tackle. And C.J. Spiller has just hit a new career high in rushing with that carry. 168 yards. His previous best is a game that we did against Florida State when he had 165.
Well,
almost 10 yards a pop.
And the guy has played hurt. He's been courageous. He's been a warrior. And he's right where he wants to be with a chance to lead his team to a championship in his senior year.
They fake it to him. Parker getting pressure. Now he's going to go long on the sideline. Intercepted by Georgia Tech. Jared Tarrant coming back the other way. He might go. Tarrant with a 50-yard INT return. Just when Clemson had things going their way and had some momentum back.
Well, Derek Morgan is the guy who's going to get the pressure that forces Kyle Parker to make a bad throw. It's in there, and the ball sails back to the middle. He wanted to throw out to the sideline for Spiller, and the ball is thrown back too far inside, and Tarrant gets the interception.
So Tarrant, who had a big play with a punt return for a touchdown the first time these two teams met, fields that one easily and takes it 50 yards back to the 28-yard line of Clemson. Now Nesbitt and company going back to work, and no gain for Jonathan Dwyer. Boy, what a big turn of events right there. Georgia Tech, every time they have the football, they've scored. You don't see that very often. Including the 70-yard touchdown pass to DeMaryius Thomas the last time they had the ball. Now everything's in their favor. A minute and a half to go in the third quarter. They can take their time with a 10-point lead and just run their spread option offense. Nesbitt going to throw it. And throw it away.
Yeah, a little mix-up in the backfield. He almost got knocked down by Anthony Allen. And Nesbitt did the wise thing in throwing that one away.
So Parker's thrown 2 interceptions. One was a deflected pass. And Bunaway with the pressure that forced that last throw.
Yep. Yeah, I missed that, or said it was Derek Morgan. It was actually a Bunaway. 41, not 91.
Yep. Well, the bookend guys down there, it's hard to tell sometimes. 3rd and 9. But again, the clock is Georgia Tech's friend, with the exception of that incomplete pass. Saves Clemson a little bit of time. Nesbitt, wow, there wasn't much room to pitch there. And Allen ran out of real estate and ran out of bounds. Stopping the clock again with 1:16 in the third quarter. It'll be 4th down and about 5.
You know, you say that there's not a lot of room, and you wonder, well, why do they run a play like that into the sideline? Well, because normally a defense will shift their defense to the field. They'll put more defenders to the field, figuring that a team is going to run wider with more field. And so you run the option into the boundary, and you have less defenders, even though you do have less room.
Georgia Tech's already been successful on 4th down tonight. They'll try one of 4th and 5 here. Big time play for the Clemson defense.
Nope, they're just trying to draw them off sides.
And now they have to use a timeout because they ran out of time trying to draw them off. And we'll see if Blair comes out or if the offense will come back out.
Tell you what, that's a pretty good stop for the Clemson defense if they make him settle for a field goal after the big interception return.
1:16 remaining third quarter. Our Dr. Pepper ACC conference update. Paul Johnson, if you didn't know, was named Coach of the Year for the 2nd straight season. That's only happened 3 times in league history. C.J. Spiller, the offensive and overall ACC Player of the Year. And he showed why tonight with a career high in rushing and 3 touchdowns. And Derek Morgan, who's been a presence obviously tonight for Georgia Tech's defense, was named the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Derek Morgan, everybody wondered how he'd perform without some of those other guys Georgia Tech used to have. Michael Johnson, Darrell Richard, Vance Walker all went on to pro football. A lot of people, though, if you really look back at Derek Morgan last year, a lot of people said, yeah, you know, those guys are going to be draft choices, but he might be the best guy we got right now. Well, he's definitely the best guy they got right now this year. Scott Blair will come back out.
Yeah, I think this is what Paul Johnson needed to do. Go ahead and try to get this thing to a 13-point lead. Capitalize on the turnover. You get the interception and the big return. If you go for it on fourth and don't make it, tough.
Blair from 40. Got another one. And for Kyle Parker, it's the Blair Witch Project right now. 4 field goals by number 14. And it adds to the lead. 13-point advantage. Well, we promised you Todd's taste of the town. Let's see where he headed.
1 mile from Raymond James Stadium is a family-owned Cuban restaurant called La Teresita that is outstanding. Now, Max and Cora Capdevila emigrated from Cuba in 1962 with their 4 boys. 10 years later, they opened a grocery store that soon became a fish and meat market. Later, it became a sandwich shop that ultimately grew into a small restaurant and cafeteria that's a landmark in the Tampa area.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Well, we'll find out what he had following the kick. 1:11 remaining in the third quarter. With Todd Blackledge, Aaron Andrews, I'm Brad Nessler. This is a Dr. Pepper ACC championship. The winner goes on to the FedEx Orange Bowl. And as Todd mentioned, it's been a long dry spell for both these teams getting to that Orange Bowl. For Georgia Tech, it goes back to 1966. For Clemson, their championship season of '81. It's the reason C.J. Spiller came back. He said, I wanted to win a national championship, but our next goal is to win the conference crown, something that Clemson hasn't done in 18 years. And right now they're in a 13-point hole with 1:11 remaining in the third quarter. That's Jacoby Ford. C.J. is going to save himself from the offensive series, but don't let number 6 get a head start on you, because you'll never catch it. And they're going to kick it to Ford at the 5-yard line. Jacoby bounces outside, and he's run out of bounds as he got out to about the 28-yard line. So let's check back in and see what Mr. Blackledge had to dine on.
Lewis, the manager, brought out an array of things for me to try, but what I finally settled on was the filete salteado, which is a seasoned beef tenderloin that's sliced and sauteed on the grill with onions and green peppers. You add in some chorizo sausage and Spanish ham and French fries. Serve that with a side of Spanish yuca and fried plantains, and you are good to go. It's good to be me. Yes, sir.
It's good to be you for a lot of reasons, I'm sure, but especially the food part.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you, that place was great. And that's Erin's favorite restaurant here in Tampa, and her family's from here, and she's the one that kind of directed me there. And well, I'll tell you, the place did not disappoint. It was Lewis is one of the sons, and
play a game. Offense, 5 yards, still first down.
You know, you saw that first shot we showed earlier in the game of me eating real fast. Right. I don't really eat that fast, but Lewis did bring all those plates out. I said, I'm not sure what I want. He said, well, let me give you a few things to try. And I was almost too full to do the segment.
Yeah, you only eat that fast at halftime when you need a little, you know, just a little pick-me-up. That's when you cover ground like that. And he did say to Aaron on the way over to the game, you know the cool thing about it? It's open 24 hours.
Absolutely, and it's close to here. It's a mile away.
I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
And getting into the secondary, Andre Ellington with a nice game. Picked up 12. By the way, if you want to win a $100 gift certificate to
La Teresita,
log on to ESPN.com, search Taste of the Town, and tell us why you deserve to win.
Well, right now, Kyle Parker has got to he's got to play with some poise and maturity. C.J. Spiller's on the bench. Parker, the last 7 games, only 5 interceptions, 2 tonight. But a lot of game left, a whole quarter to play.
Ellington again, got the corner. Ellington knocked out of bounds, but he got almost to the 35-yard line. Jacoby Ford leading the way, got a block for him, and a 30-yard gain.
Well, you can see why Dabo Swinney and the offensive staff so excited about Ellington. Again, he only had 3 carries, kind of a non-factor the first time these two teams played. Nice job by Michael Palmer kicking his man out, and then Jacoby Ford blocking on the outside, and the speed of Ellington.
Might be the last play of the third quarter. Harper stood up and then swarmed under by the Yellow Jackets. A pickup of only about a yard. So Georgia Tech has the lead heading to the fourth and final quarter. 15 minutes will determine the Atlantic Coast Conference champion. Stick around.
If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day.
It's been a heck of a day and a heck of a night. Hope you make your donation to the V Foundation. We're set for the fourth and final quarter. Winner is the ACC champion and heading to the FedEx Orange Bowl. C.J. Spiller, his rest is over. Back in with Kyle Parker on a 2nd down and 9. Clemson trailing by 13. Parker pump fakes, Grunt goes for it all. Ford!
Oh, he dropped it.
Had it in his hands, in and out. Rashad Reed was covering.
Well, he had run by Rashad Reed. He had to wait on the ball a little bit. Kyle Parker a little late in getting rid of it, and Jacoby Ford had to wait a little bit, and there was a little bump by Rashad Reed right before the ball got there, and that distracted Ford enough that he wasn't able to pull it in.
Jacoby got up, was looking at the official, and said he hit me in the face mask when I was trying to make the catch. He might have had a good claim there. I don't know. At any rate, it's 3rd and 9, and now they really need this one. Here comes a blitz. Parker runs out of it, trying to get the first, and he won't get there. But he did get 6 or 7. Let's take you back one more play again in the corner of the end zone, right there.
Yeah, there was. He did grab the face mask briefly, and that distracted Jacoby Ford just enough that he lost sight of the football.
Richard Jackson out to try a field goal. Trying to make it a 10-point game again. And now Clemson has to take a timeout. They may talk this over and think this over, whether or not they want to take a kick. They might want to go for it on 4th down. We'll find out with you when we come back. Georgia Tech looking for its first outright ACC title since '90 when they shared the national championship. Clemson looking for its first in 18 years, 1991. A drought's going to come to an end in the next 14 minutes and 14 seconds. While we were away on the Clemson timeout, Georgia Tech took a timeout because Clemson's decided to go for it. I think this is the call, Todd. You don't know how many times you're going to get the ball back.
No, and even if you would kick a field goal and make it, you're still 2 scores down. So I think you got to go for it here. Keep an eye on Palmer. He's in the slot right now. This is him right here, the tight end.
Parker in the shotgun. Jacoby Ford in motion. Clemson's got to have this one. Here they come. Parker, quick throw, and a catch by Ford and a first down.
Great catch by Ford because it was not a good throw by Parker. It was a quick out, and he threw it behind him, and Ford was able to gear it down enough to get his hands back to the football. Dabo Swinney can take a deep breath after that one because that was not a good throw by Kyle Parker.
It had a lot on it and was thrown behind Jacoby. That might be one of the best catches of the year by number 6, and it wasn't a long gain. It was the gain they needed. 1st and 10 at the 22. Whoops. C.J. Spiller slipped down, and now Parker's going to try to make something out of this, and Morgan Burnett is going to track him down for about a 5-yard loss. The field is getting a little bit slippery out there. As we mentioned, it rained the last 2 days, and you see C.J. just got...
Well, the only thing that Kyle Parker could have done better than that, and it was a good decision not to try to hand it off, but a lot of times you tell the quarterback, instead of breaking outside like that, just run right to where the play was supposed to go. Even though you're not going to run it as well as C.J. Spiller, that's where your blockers are.
Looks a little bit like a polo field right now out there. Loss of 5. Palmer The tight end on the move on 2nd and 15. Parker rolls that way. Gonna have to hurry to get rid of it. Morgan was chasing. Ebunaway was coming from the backside. And it's another big 3rd down upcoming.
Well, if you're Dabo Swinney and you're thinking that we're still in 4-down territory here, which I'm not sure if he's committed to that or not, Kyle Parker's got to be thinking getting something here. He doesn't need all of it on this play on 3rd and 15, but he better get at least 8 or 9.
The problem, if they don't get the 15 and they go for a field goal, they're still 2 scores behind.
I know.
3rd and what seems like a mile right now if you're a Clemson Tiger fan. Parker steps up in the pocket. He's going to try to run for it. And he's not going to get there, but he got all but about 2 of it. And now you got to think that if they went for it on 4th down and 3, they're going to go on 4th down and 2.
Well, see, 4th and 2, they got a great shot to make. If it was 4th and 14, 4th and 15, then you almost have to kick the field goal.
Right. Billy Napier, the offensive coordinator up there, looking through the window, hoping that whatever he's dialed up can pick up 3 yards. They did last time. It was a throw to Ford, and they move him back the same way.
Look out.
This one's incomplete.
Oh, late flag.
Morgan Burnett's going to be called for either holding or interference, I think, on Michael Palmer.
Palmer was the intended receiver, and it looked like Morgan Burnett had a hold of his one arm.
Pass interference. Defense number 1. Penalty. An automatic 1st down at the spot of the foul.
Here's Morgan Burnett, and he's going to be working on Palmer. They're just trying to get the 1st down. A short route. There's contact, and it looked like he had him wrapped around as the ball was getting there.
Clemson 2 tight ends on 1st and goal. At the Georgia Tech 9. Spiller has 3 touchdowns in the ball game. He's the tailback. He'll get the call. CJ to the corner. Touchdown.
You know, just when it looks like his foot is really bugging him and he doesn't have the speed or the burst or the change of direction, he makes a run like that. He's almost like, who was that used to run and it looked like he was hurt every time he get off the...
Jim Brown did it. Yeah.
And then he just come flying right at you again. And that time he planted that left foot, busted it outside, and never lost a step and got to the corner. And then limped to the sideline.
Exactly. So 2 4th down conversions, a 4th C.J. Spiller touchdown. And with 12 minutes to go, this game is very much in the balance. Who's going to win it? 33-27, Georgia Tech.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Dr. Pepper. The Coach's Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper will be awarded to the 2010 BCS National Champion. And in part by Windows Phone. To have your say on college football, text 140 to the number 4ESPN. That's 43776.
They are getting their money's worth at Raymond James Stadium tonight. Don't forget, Reese, Mark, Lou, Jesse Palmer, Sunday Night Bowl Selection Special. They'll talk about all 34 bowls, kind of break it down for you. Some coaches will join them. Bowl Selection Special powered by Chevy Silverado. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. 72-yard drive, 10 plays. This guy is something to watch.
Yes, he is. And we talked about guys that are contending for the Heisman Trophy being on a final big stage tonight. Of course, Tim Tebow and Mark Ingram earlier. Colt McCoy right now against Nebraska. This guy here is putting on a show in his final appearance.
Kickoff to the 1-yard line to Orwin Smith. And Smith Goes into a sea of orange at about the 23-yard line. Speaking of Reese Davis, let's check in with him right now.
Red Sports Center right now. Big 12 championship game. Texas is in trouble. This is Niles Paul just seconds ago returning the punt. Takes it all the way down to the 10. The Nebraska defense has been dominant. The offense in F. But it's 10-6 right now. First and goal for the Huskers. It's on ABC. Alabama's earned its way into the national championship game, throttling Florida 32-13 in the SEC title game. Next Sports Center on ESPN News at 11, then after our game.
Georgia Tech from the 25, first down. Nesbitt. Josh Nesbitt waiting for his blockers, and he's got a first down run. Wow. Almost 15. Isn't it funny? The player of the year is C.J. Spiller. The guy that finished second is number 9. And they're both playing their hearts out.
Well, Nesbitt is just doing a beautiful job of reading the Clemson defense. That time, Daquan Bowers came across the line to stop the pitch. They stopped the dive and they stopped the pitch, and Nesbitt said, all right, that means I keep it and I'll get the first down.
And he did at the 40-yard line. Nesbitt again. Well, he might have backpedaled for a couple of yards. You know, Paul Johnson, when he's recruiting guys and he's talking about, a lot of people said there won't be a lot of big plays in this offense. He said, you know what we'll have? We'll have 2,000 yards rushers and we'll have a 1,000-yard receiver. Josh Nesbitt's getting close to 1,000. Yep. John Dwyer is already over that.
That's
and
right.
DeMaryius Thomas averages 25 yards a catch, so he's not far off. Tech has scored on all 7 of its possessions. Their punter's got to be freezing on the sideline. It's just not that warm down there, and he hasn't had any work. No, his Clemson's. Dwyer into the secondary. McDaniel finally drags him down. He hasn't had a lot of room to run, but he's a load when he gets those big thighs moving.
Yeah, he's 235 pounds, and I was down the field before the game and looking at him, and his lower body is really thick. I mean, he is powerfully built and low to the ground. And you're right, he hasn't had a lot of space in there between those 2 defensive tackles, but that time he was able to spring it through for a nice game.
When we said Clemson had to go because how many times would they get the ball back? Well, look at that clock. It's going to be under 10 minutes shortly, and Georgia Tech back in Tiger territory. Again, they go inside. And again, the clock will work under the 10-minute mark as Ricky Sapp made the tackle.
You know, I think with most teams, when you look at statistics, you could say time of possession is a meaningless statistic, right, but not with Georgia Tech. They lead the nation in time of possession coming into the ball game tonight. 34 minutes and 3 seconds. They're probably above that pace in this game tonight.
There it is.
Yeah, and the thing is, it limits the opponent's opportunities, and that's what Clemson is waiting for, their next opportunity, but they've got to stop Georgia Tech to get it.
You see 23 more plays for the Ramblin' Wreck. Nesbitt, whoa, to Peebles. Oh, did he get decked by McDaniel? Kevin Steele calls him a vicious, a violent hitter. Yeah. He just showed it there.
And right now, Paul Johnson is thinking, okay, that's the safety flying up there to make a play. So somewhere here in the next couple plays, I'm going to fake it and throw it by the area where number 2 is, expecting him to come up and make a play on the run. May not be this 3rd down play, but I bet it'll be soon if they convert here. 11th time, 3rd and 4 or less for Georgia Tech.
Look at Georgia Tech's 3rd down conversions tonight. Dwyer just grinding close. Got 3. That's 4th and 1.
And the clock just keeps on ticking.
Yep. We talked about the big 3 for Georgia Tech. Anthony Allen, not much of a factor like he was the first game, but Dwyer, 19 totes. Josh Nesbitt, 17. They each have a touchdown. Now they need 1 more yard to really make the clock their friend. 4 minutes off the clock on this drive already. Play of the game right here. Nesbitt. I don't know. So. Wait a minute.
If he got it, it would only be on second effort because they stood him up.
Not even close where they've spotted it. Clemson will take over.
It was Daquan Bowers, number 93, who got great inside penetration from his defensive end position. He was quick off the ball, and he ran an inside stunt. Watch him get right in here, right into the chest of Josh Nesbitt. Gets right inside the tackle's block, stands up Nesbitt, and then Brandon May is there to wrap him up with Ellington. Daquan Bowers slipped right inside of Brad Sellers' block and knocked Josh Nesbitt back, and he lost his momentum going for the first down.
C.J. Spiller on the sideline, cheering on his defense. Now it's Clemson's turn. I think they're going to review this upstairs. I thought, to be honest with you, that the spot should be short, but a lot closer than where they put it down. So let's see if that's going to be the case here. Because his second effort, when he was backing up and the whistle had not blown yet, you see the line of scrimmage is the black line, but now Nesbitt at that point
he's
got
down.
another foot, but he's down now.
Again, it was a tremendous play by Bowers, anticipating the snap count, anticipating where the play was going. And when he hit Nesbitt high like that, it just stopped him in his tracks and stopped his forward progress.
Let's listen to this one. I'll be honest with you, I couldn't hear the whistle. So if it was at the very end, then I would imagine it would be a foot difference, but I still don't think it's first down. So Clemson takes over. Confirmation's been made. We're ready to play. Clemson's got 7:52, 2 timeouts. They need a touchdown to lead. Touchdown to tie, extra point to lead. Here we go, partner.
Yes, sir.
C.J. Spiller. C.J. Spiller. Burnett trying to get him. Another unbelievable run. more yards.
Well, we got great blocks by Dwayne Allen and Xavier Dye. Watch number 83 right there, and number 21, Xavier Dye, the wide receiver. They both stuck onto their men, and Spiller got to the edge. You don't have to give him a lot of room. Just give him a crease or an alley, and he'll do the rest.
19 carries, 230 yards.
Wow.
4 touchdowns so far. First and goal, Clemson. This time bottled up. Now he comes forward, and he's got it down to the 5-yard line.
You know what? That was a heck of a run right there. I mean, it wasn't as flashy as the one right before it, but that went from being about a 3-yard loss to a 4-yard gain. That was a heck of a run. Watch this thing now. He is stopped. He's going to be knocked for a loss of yardage right here. He's dead to rights with Cedric Griffin, and somehow he is able to dance and elude and get 4.
Second and goal. They fake it to him. Parker's going to throw it to him. Not quite. To the 1.
CJ's going to sleep well tonight. That much I know.
Either that or he won't sleep at all. He's coming back out.
He's got to come out. I mean, because it's 3rd down and 1. I mean, you want him in the game if at all possible.
Mario Butler saved a touchdown, but the football is at the 2-foot line. They're going to bring in Andre Ellington. 3rd and goal. Ellington over the pile. Touchdown. 33-33. An extra point, an all-important one, is upcoming.
You got a lineman down for Clemson. Looks like Mason Cloy, number 62. Well, that was fresh legs there. Ellington with a quick burst and a jump over the top. Nice lead block from Chad Deal, number 30, the fullback.
There you see Deal, and there you see the airborne Ellington. Freshman out of Moncks Corner, South Carolina.
Now the thing for Georgia Tech,
they got plenty of time.
Yeah, because the long run by Spiller got him down there, they didn't use up a lot of clock. So Georgia Tech has got 6 minutes and 11 seconds. They don't have field goal. Yeah, they don't have to get into a hurry up. They don't have to throw. They can do their thing, run their offense, because all they need is a field goal. And so far tonight, their kicker Blair has been outstanding.
Josh Nesbitt thinking about what could have been had he gotten the first down on the 4th down run earlier. CJ Spiller gets some, I don't blame him, get some oxygen. I said to CJ yesterday, I said, you know, I've watched you play for so many games. Is this the biggest one ever? Obviously it is. FedEx Orange Bowl in the offing for one of these teams with 6:11 to go. Mason Cloy, and when they put that inflatable cast, it usually means maybe a bone break. All his teammates coming around him as he was one of the lead blockers on that touchdown run, or the touchdown dive, I should say.
Yeah, here he is right here, and his right leg is going to get pinned down from behind.
Man rolled up on, as it happens so often down there in the pit, and so we'll wish him the best. They're going to bring the cart out here and get him to the locker room. So you would assume his season, should it be in the FedEx Orange Bowl or whatever bowl game, probably not going to happen for Mason. He gets a nice round of applause from both sets of fans. And that's a tough way to go out in a championship game, as we saw Georgia Tech have the same thing happen to one of their offensive linemen in the first half. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Aaron down on the field. Great ball game. Now we got an extra point coming up that is not automatic.
No.
We saw that when Clemson played Florida State in the regular season. But so far tonight, they've been perfect in that area. Still 6:11 to go.
Right.
Plenty of time for Georgia Tech. This one's way not over yet.
It really isn't, and it's been a game of responses so far. You know, when they played in September, it was a different kind of game. Georgia Tech jumped out early. Clemson came back. Clemson took the lead. Georgia Tech tied it and then ultimately won it with 57 seconds left. Well, right now, Clemson has a chance to take the lead with 6:11 left, and Georgia Tech plenty of time to run their offense the way they like to try to get in position to win the game.
Richard Jackson out of Greer, South Carolina, for an all-important extra point. And it's good. Clemson's got the lead. 14 unanswered Tiger points. 34-33 Clemson. CJ Spiller, he's using up some oxygen over there on that sideline as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. On the night, it's been the CJ Spiller Show. 233 yards, 4 touchdowns, career highs for him. Georgia Tech, though, their rushing offense, 276. Dwyer scored, Nesbitt scored, and also Nesbitt to DeMaryius Thomas on a long touchdown. But there's the one Josh Nesbitt is still thinking about on the sideline. Stopped on 4th and 1. Ellington comes in just to give C.J. Spiller a breather, and he goes over the top from a yard. The extra point good, and the burnt orange and northwest purple clad fans for Clemson are having a big time right now. But Georgia Tech knows that that guy only needs a field goal here at the end, as he did in Atlanta September 10th to win it 30-27. Georgia Tech only needs a field goal to regain the lead here.
Well, Blair kicked 2 down the stretch in September. He kicked 1 to tie it, and then one to win it from 36 yards away with 57 seconds left. So hoping for the same opportunity.
Spencer Benton to kick off. Orwin Smith has to track it down at about the 2-yard line. And he's going to be buried before he can get to the 15. Preston Butler, big play on special teams. Let's check in with Aaron.
Hey, Brad, Dabo Swinney just summed it up for his defense before they took the field and said, you don't deserve to win a championship if you don't get it done on defense right here. Do your job and get a turnover. Coach Swinney knows it's not over yet.
6 minutes, 5 seconds. Both teams with 2 timeouts. Worst starting field position of the night for Georgia Tech.
Well, they've got a long field to go. They've gained 384 yards against this Clemson defense tonight so far. They've pretty much moved the ball. That last 4th down stop was huge, but they've been able to mix it up against Clemson tonight.
Nesbitt drops back to throw on 1st down. Over the head of DeMaryius Thomas, incomplete.
And that puts them behind right away. You know, they have not thrown much on 1st down. I'm not sure that he and DeMaryius were on the same page on that route. I mean, he looks a little frustrated, and the ball sailed. But right away, it's 2nd and 10 from deep in their own territory.
A 3-receiver look for Georgia Tech. You don't see it often. Nesbitt fakes a pitch and keeps it. And he's going to be within 2 yards of the 1st down again, as we're under 6 minutes. By the way, it's been all Jimmy V week for us. Paula from Kissimmee, Florida, is going to be Todd's Taste winner. 2 or 3 times a month, she says she travels to Tampa for treatment for her husband's cancer at Moffitt Clinic. And his brother-in-law always drives us there. It'd be a special treat and a special way to thank him. So, Paula, have fun. And your husband and your brother-in-law. Under 5.5. Clemson 34. Georgia Tech 33. 3rd and 2. Pitch to Allen. Puts his head down, but I think he's short. We'll have to take a look at it, maybe. Brandon May and Marcus Gilchrist combine on the tackle. And Jeff Flanagan, our referee, is going to say, let's bring the sticks out and have a close look at this.
Yeah, Gilchrist was the first guy there. He hit him low, and May finished him off higher.
So the change come from the far side of the field. And while our yellow line is usually right on the money, this is going to tell us how close Georgia Tech is. That close, the length of the football.
Well, as Yogi Berra would say, right? Deja vu all over again.
There you go. Here's the pitch.
A great penetration again inside. And then you see the high tackle by Brandon May. Gilchrist was low to slow him down, and May hit him high to keep him from falling forward for the 1st down.
Well, we mentioned earlier Clemson. How many chances would they get to get their hands on the ball again? Georgia Tech doesn't get this. Will they get their hands on the football again? 4th and inches. Paul Johnson at his own 24-yard line. Nesbitt's got the 1st down. Just tucked his way in between Bedford and Howard, and he's got the 1st down.
They ran away from Big Jarvis Jenkins, which I think is pretty smart. I mean, that guy is a load in there, a very special inside player. Over 60 tackles on the season from a defensive nose tackle position. That's impressive.
1st and 10 for the Ramblin' Wreck. They need a field goal to lead. Nesbitt comes up throwing. John Dwyer out to the 45-yard line. Just when you think you got it figured out, a throw on 1st down for 20.
Well, they go a little play action fake and then roll Dwyer out of the backfield. He's going to come right out here in the flat, and Nesbitt's going to fake it quickly and then kind of come on a bootleg. And he finds Dwyer right over the outstretched hands of Cabell Connor, And a nice little play on first down for Georgia Tech.
Out to the 46. That's where they spot it. Now it's Dwyer inside. Maybe 3. Bowers and Thompson on the tackle, and we're under 4 minutes. C.J. Spiller on that sideline on one knee. His VCC on his eye black stands for his church back in his hometown, the Victory Christian Center. He's hoping for victory tonight. 3:38 clock running. Clemson 34. Georgia Tech 33. Nesbitt, quick throw to DeMaryius Thomas. Puts a stiff arm out and stretches out. And he might have the first down. It looks like it. So DeMaryius Thomas, who was pretty quiet in the first half, a couple of big plays in this half, a 70-yard touchdown, and now a first down stretch right there.
As big and physical as he is, a lot of times you just throw it and hope he breaks the tackle. He doesn't break the tackle from Chancellor, but he does a nice job at least getting it to the first down. He stretches that ball out, but he's always dangerous because of his size and strength.
Another 15 yards, maybe not even that much, and Georgia Tech would be in field goal range. Nesbitt straight up the middle. Knowing that, now they're going to work the clock in their favor. If Paul Johnson had his druthers, he'd get a touchdown and win going away. But if not, he just as soon use all this clock, get down to about the 20, and let number 14 take a crack at winning it.
Well, that's how he won it in September. You know, it was a tie ball game at that point. He wasn't losing, it was tied. And he worked it all the way down to 57 seconds and let Scott Blair win it.
Second down and 6. Nesbitt keeps. First down. Josh Nesbitt to the 30-yard line. Another 10 yards.
Right now they're getting close to Scott Blair's range for his longer field goals. Coming into tonight, 45 yards, his season long.
Josh Nesbitt over 100 yards rushing. On 22 tough carries. Clock working its way down near 2 minutes. Winners the ACC champion and on to the FedEx Orange Bowl. 2 minutes to play to find out who it's going to be. Dwyer puts both hands around that football and got 2 more yards. Georgia Tech took over at its own 14-yard line with 6:11 to play. 148 is what we're down to right now. Now you can only hope they'll have as much fun at Lambeau Field on Monday nights. ESPN Monday Night Football, Ray Lewis and the Ravens taking on Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Both teams trying to stay in the playoff picture. Starts with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 7 o'clock. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackwood, Jaron Andrews, and our ESPN crew in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. One side of the stadium filled with orange and purple, and right now the old gold and navy of the Georgia Tech fans hoping that they can get their kicker one more shot here at the end to try to win the game. Remember the long droughts. Both teams, you have to go a long ways back to get to the Orange Bowl. Clemson in '81 when they won the national title. Georgia Tech in 1966, their last trip to the Orange Bowl. Right now we're down to 148 to see who's going to spend New Year's in hopefully a warmer area of Florida.
Right now they're looking at about a 45-yard field goal. Blair is 4 for 4 tonight. 48, 49, 28, and 40. So well within his range, it would appear, and a very hot and confident kicker right now.
He's got the chin straps tightened. Second down and 8, Georgia Tech at the Clemson 27-yard line. Up in the middle, driving for another first down. Jonathan Dwyer, when they desperately need him for the Ramblin' Wreck, is starting to produce 8 more yards.
Well, they had with their backup defensive tackles in that time. And Miguel Chavez, number 89, just got double teamed and put on the ground. And Dwyer was able to get in there. Right now, Jenkins and Thompson are back in, but it might be too late because that play by Dwyer really hurt him.
5th first down of the drive. Tech at the 20-yard line. Dwyer again for 5 more. And the clock down to 1:25. Clemson can only stop it one more time with a timeout.
Again, remember when they got the ball, there was 6 minutes and 11 seconds left, and they didn't have to do anything. They could run their offense.
Let's check in quickly with Reese.
Brad, what a finish we're going to have in the Big 12. What a finish coming up in the Big 12. Colt McCoy against Nebraska on a 3rd down play, his 3rd interception of the night on a spectacular play by Dejon Gomes. Nebraska moved the ball. Alex Henry, his 4th field goal of the night, 12-10. But now, after Nebraska kicked off out of bounds, Colts completed a pass, a personal foul. Horns getting close to field goal range.
Eerily similar, only a lot more scoring in this one. 1:25 remaining. Clemson 34, Georgia Tech 33. Georgia Tech's going to have a 2nd down and 5 at the Tiger 15-yard line. Right now, the only thing that would really make the plans for Georgia Tech go awry is turning the ball over.
That's right. And so I'm sure Paul Johnson told his team when they had him on the sideline there, get what you can get and get down. Protect the ball, because Clemson's only shot right now is to pull the ball out.
The 13th play of the Georgia Tech drive. Dwyer to the outside. Dwyer! Touchdown! The 2008 ACC Player of the Year. From 15 yards away, an unbelievable Georgia Tech drive. 86 yards in 13 plays.
But I'll tell you what, it's not horrible for Clemson. Yes, they've given up the lead, but there's still time. 1:20, even though they don't have timeouts. If Georgia Tech would have been able to continue to bleed the clock, they would have had nothing with the football. Here's the touchdown. Watch the burst outside by Dwyer. And Byron Maxwell, number 36, is going to lose contain. He's going to get too far inside and lose the edge. And Dwyer gets to the end zone. A tremendous drive by Georgia Tech.
Doesn't Georgia Tech go for 2 here? 39-34.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you have to.
That's the 2009 Player of the Year. And boys, he played like it.
Well, again now, for Clemson, and right now Kyle Parker's over there thinking, okay, we've got 1:20. I have no timeouts, and we're going to need a touchdown. But that's a whole lot better than like 20 seconds or 25 seconds, which is what they probably would have had Georgia Tech run a couple more plays and then kick the field goal.
They didn't need the field goal, and they won't need their kicker. Georgia Tech will go for 2 to try to make it a 7-point game. So Josh Nesbitt has been so effective in these kind of situations all during the Georgia Tech year that's produced 10 wins. Let's see if he can work his magic from the 3-yard line.
Movement, right tackle.
That changes everything. Clater has battled through a bunch of injuries in this game.
Continue with the try.
And the fact that he's even out there is one thing. And you see Gilbert saying, all right, we'll get it. But that's not going to be the same play call now, I don't imagine.
Yeah, they got to change the play.
So they run the play in with Roddy Jones from head coach Paul Johnson. See where DeMaryius Thomas heads out. To the left. Allen and Melton. The wideouts to the right, and now Melton in motion. Georgia Tech going for 2, but they need a big chunk of yardage now. Nesbitt keeps it. Nesbitt has got it. Wow.
Nice block by Cord Howard, number 71. It was a quarterback trap. Watch him come out and trap the defensive end, Bowers. And Nesbitt cuts right off the inside of that trap block and gets it into the end zone. Marcus Gilchrist met him at the goal line. But Nesbitt, I think, able to get the football across the plane.
What a gutsy run by number 9. Still feeling the effects of it, I'm afraid to say. But he'll take it right now. Headache and all. Well, if you're not chattering about this game, you're not chattering about anything. You're chattering about college football scores and highlights. In section 140, powered by Windows Phone. You can learn more and join in the discussion. Text 140 to 4ESPN from your mobile phone. This is worthy of a conference championship game, to say the least.
Well, right now, Paul Johnson also has to make a decision. What's he going to do on this kickoff? Because you don't want to give Clemson great field position to start this possession.
Dabo Swinney is saying that Josh Nesbitt did not cross the goal line on the 2-point conversion.
Well, it's awful close. I mean, just any part of the ball has to cross the plane. He lowers the shoulder and tries to split the defenders, and there's the football back in his right hand. Now, the question is, was his knee down before the ball crossed the plane? Because he has it in his back arm. It's not across the plane yet.
It's right on the chalk right there.
Yeah. But is his knee down first?
And guys, not only is Dabo Swinney telling the official he didn't get it, he's also saying that he dropped the ball.
It didn't look like, from what we just saw, that he dropped the football, but it was very close as to whether his knee was down before the ball crossed the plane.
This would be an awfully hard one to overturn.
Yeah. Again, it was ruled good, and it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn that.
So Josh Nesbitt, who 5 minutes ago was sort of holding his head on the sideline as if to think maybe he wouldn't get another chance.
The runner was short of the goal line. The try is no good.
Well, they did overturn.
It was a great job by Gilchrist and Brandon May hitting him high and not letting him come over the top of them into the end zone. And then his knee hits the ground before the ball crosses the plane. Wow, it still looked awful close to overturn.
Me too. That's what I think too, but that's where we are.
You know, I think it's a right call. I mean, in looking at it a few more times, that's right. It is supposed to be indisputable video evidence to overturn it. I guess in their opinion it was.
What doesn't change is Clemson still needs a touchdown, and Tech's going with a pooch kick.
Well, I would return this instead of... They fair caught that.
At the 35. As we check in with Reese Davis.
Brad, you will not believe how Texas escaped. Here's the game-winning field goal, and Hunter Lawrence hits it. But on the play before, Colt McCoy rolled out. They almost pulled an LSU against Ole Miss and let the clock expire. Had to have an official review to get 1 second back on the clock to kick the game-winning field goal. Texas still undefeated, probably to Pasadena, but what do you do with them now?
We're 120 away from finding out who's going to the FedEx Orange Bowl here. Clemson needs a touchdown. Parker, plenty of time now running out of it. Flags are down as he goes down at the 41-yard line.
Now that's in the area of holding almost always.
72 offense. 10 yards previous spot. Still first down.
Clemson trailing by 5. 1:12 to go. They're out of timeouts. They need a touchdown to come from behind and win. Winner goes to the FedEx Orange Bowl. Georgia Tech went on a 86-yard, 13-play drive to take the lead. And now Kyle Parker and company trying to answer. Parker fires. Incomplete, intended for Xavier Dye.
Not a bad incompletion because it stopped the clock. Because, see, Clemson has no timeouts. So they've got to use every other means possible to keep that clock from running down on them. So an incomplete pass on first down, not a killer. It is second and long, however, and Kyle Parker needs to gain some positive yardage on this play.
Second and 20. 64 seconds left. Parker with 4 wideouts. Sets and goes deep for C.J. Spiller. Just overshot him. If you've just joined us, C.J. Spiller, the player of the year in the ACC, has shattered his own record for single-game rushing and has 4 touchdowns. They tried to get him out there in the pass pattern and let him run wild.
And it really wasn't a great decision by Kyle Parker because there was a safety, Mario Edwards, back there. And even if Spiller gets down the field, the safety's in position to make a play. Now it's 3rd and 20 because you went for the deep one on second down.
Now it's an empty backfield. Thea Parker tries to go to his tight end, but it is 3rd and long. Firing in the middle and complete. And it's Xavier Dye about a yard or maybe 2 shy of the first down.
And Xavier Dye went down to the ground, and if he stays on his feet, he might run for 10 more yards. As it is, the clock is still running, and they've got to get a first down.
Well, here's the ball game right here. They're going with a hurry-up. 4th and a yard. Parker for the ball game. No, he didn't get there. Guess who? The ACC Defensive Player of the Year. With the play defensively of the game. And now Derek Morgan's pointing at his ring finger because Georgia Tech's going to be wearing a championship ring.
Here's 3rd down. If Xavier Dye stays up, I mean, I know it's a low throw, but if he can stay up, he gets the first down easily. And then 4th down, he's forced to run. Ibunaway and Derek Morgan close the pocket, and Parker is stopped short of the first down.
Georgia Tech's 43-year drought waiting to go back to the FedEx Orange Bowl is over. What a ball game between Dabo Swinney's Tigers and Paul Johnson's Ramblin' Wreck. C.J. Spiller, the player of the game with 233 yards and 4 touchdowns, but the defensive player of the year makes the play when he had to, Derek Morgan. And Georgia Tech is the ACC football champion. Games don't get much better than this one. And there's a moment. The 08 Player of the Year hugging his counterpart, the 09 Player of the Year. Let's go down here.
Paul Johnson just summed it up perfectly. Wow. First of all, the hat looks great. How does it feel to be the ACC champion going to the Orange Bowl?
Well, it feels great. That was a great drive to win the game, and then we got to stop on defense. All we needed was 1. We got it at the end.
What was your reaction when you saw Derek Morgan make that stop?
Just relief. Really, we were kind of trying to run the ball to get position for a field goal, but you can't tell the kid not to score. So, we won the game. So, like they say, 39 is more than 34.
Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Paul simplifies everything. 39 is more than 34. They only needed 1 more. They won by 5.
Congratulations to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets on their way to the FedEx Orange Bowl, and congratulations to C.J. Spiller for being Mr. Clemson and an MVP night, even though it's in a losing cause. Wow, what a game. SportsCenter's coming up next. That's going to wrap it up 39-34 for Ty Blackledge, Jared Andrews, and our entire ESPN crew. From Brad Nessler saying so long from Tampa. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. The Yellow Jackets are the ACC champions.